Alrighty then, what's going on, ladies and germs? Let's see what's going on here. Let's do an audio check. Oh, yeah. Let me see here. We turn up the speakers on this end. Let's see what we got here. Oh. Alrighty then, what's going on, ladies and germs? Oh, yeah, we're good. We are good. Let's pop it. Let's pop me in there. Alrighty then. And get over there. Alrighty then. Just gonna stretch this out here a little bit and get this nice. Let's go here. That's fine. That works. Let me do this. Good evening to you there, Jean. How are you?
Evening, Chris, and fellow Mars enthusiasts.
Alrighty then. I'm just getting the audio here, making sure we're good. And see what's going on here, right? Alright. Should be good on photo sizes here. I think we're good here.
That looks good. Thanks, Chris. It looks good.
Alrighty. Alright. So we have, thank you, Jean, for joining us this evening. We have an hour with Jean, because this is what I didn't realize. Him and I were talking, and I said, well, no, Jean, we're only 6 hours apart. He says, no. He says, it's this time here. Remember, Jean, we were just talking about this, and he said, no, now we're like 7 hours apart. So we can't have Jean on for the couple hours we'd like to. But, of course, he was a busy man, so he worked real late last night. And we'll just call it that, right? He didn't go to bed till later. So, yeah, I don't blame him there. So, anyway, we'll take advantage of the time we do have with him.
It's 12 a.m., yeah, Chris.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't want to go too late. Yeah. We hate to see you, Jean. We hate to see you fall asleep here on us. We don't want to see that happen.
I don't want to fall off my chair again, Chris.
Yeah.
That's painful.
I hear that. That could be bad. All right, so I'm going to say evening to everybody there. We're not going to waste too much time on there. Just go through a couple of them, but I know everybody's in there as well, and I know you got a couple of fine folks from your channel as well, Jean. I know you said something about giving everybody the heads up, so that's cool. And yeah, we won't waste too much time with the hellos and everything else. I might just breeze over these comments real quick. I know some of you were commenting about the videos, both Jean's and mine. So a great big thank you to everyone.
Don't you want to do roll call?
Well, we could, but then we'll eat up that hour, and we don't want to do that.
That's noodles yet. There's noodles in the chat.
I don't know.
I don't see. The Mr. Spanner guy's not there yet.
No, I'm not seeing him. No, he might have been busy this evening.
Who's writing for you tonight, Chris?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Oh, let's see. Oh, okay. Just looking at through.
Renee Cruz says, "Oh my God, it's 12 midnight." Yep.
Like what? Like I said, because we had fallen behind on time, of course, because of daylight savings time and all that other good stuff. And so right off the bat, yeah, you went. Like I said, you're an hour difference, even more so. So now we're 7 hours difference as opposed to the 6. Well,
yeah,
we're still happy to have you on here regardless. Let me see. Let me get this a little bit bigger on the screen so you can see what we're doing here. Gotta look at the other monitor. Let me just go down here because I don't want to have... Thank you, Kyle. Good evening to you. Much appreciated and for your support. Let's go. Let's get donating. Okay, we can do that. But Andy Hughes says, hit the thumbs up button, guys. And we always have our favorite fan here. I was just telling Jean, we got our favorite fan in here. This thing hasn't even started yet. It got a thumbs down. I'm like, yes, awesome. Hey, any fan's a good fan, right?
I know.
Gotta love it.
There's nothing like nothing like bad publicity, right?
Oh yeah, hey, publicity's publicity, right? But
Exactly.
the fact that they took the time to say, "I'm going to go over his channel. I gotta hit that thumbs down." It's like, what's the mentality and the thinking of that? I mean, it's just silliness, right? But nonetheless, I think it's amusing. All right. Like I said, everybody's in there. I appreciate everybody watching the videos. Really good couple of them this week. Everybody's telling, "Oh man, that's pretty good stuff." I said I did one of Mars and I did one of the Moon, and I said I would probably do that one more. And then the rest of you guys, if you haven't jumped over to Lunar Anomalies and Beyond, do that. I'll leave a link after the show's over. And, of course, anybody who is not aware of Jean Ward's channel, we'll leave a link for him as well. So you can definitely check his stuff out. We were just talking about this. I said I love the idea that I do the ground and a lot of the up-close photos on Mars where he does all satellite, at least the majority. I would say what is it, 95, 99%, Jean?
99.
Yeah, pretty much. So, which is awesome because you get a different perspective. Now, sometimes we're going to have to get together and like do a certain area where you're doing that. I'm doing one area and you're doing the satellite. We'll have to get together and try to get that match. I know a couple of you guys have said that at one point. That'd be pretty cool.
It would be nice if I can find some real good anomalies in the location of Curiosity.
Yeah, that would be good.
There's nice stuff in Mount Sharp.
Yeah.
It looks like ruins. How do you pronounce it? Poblacian ruins or something like that. South American ruin.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but it's in Mount Sharp itself, and it's not close to the rover. It's a pity.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, this...
Sorry, I'm not good at Mexican words.
Was it, just real quick there. Oh, Mimi, thank you. You said, Chris, your new moon video was amazing. I don't know if you guys checked out Jean's latest one, too. I thought that was really spectacular. Just like it, I was just telling him about... well, he thanked me because I gave him a shout-out in the last Hangout where I was talking about that structure, and it had, like 8 different, square-type chimney-type things on there, some kind of weird details, and it had a couple of smaller ones. And I said, you know what, that kind of did it for me, because what's the chances of that, right?
Pueblo. There we go. Thanks,
Pueblo, yeah.
Wayne.
Pueblo Indians, yeah.
Pueblo, yes. Pueblo rings, yes.
Yeah, it kind of confused me. I didn't know how you were, saying that, so I was kind of like, what? I wasn't sure how you were, what name you were trying to describe.
I think Joe over at Art Alien TV also featured some of those structures.
Yeah.
I hope the rover goes up through that gully, up to those ruins. It will be really nice to see a close-up of them.
It would be. Yeah.
Yes.
I totally agree.
It is within reach. It can get there.
Yeah, it's I already believe that they're already up in Mount Sharp. Because keep in mind, from the research we've done, the photos that we're seeing, let's say the latest one, we jump on there right now, the very latest one is actually 30 days behind. From the research that we've done, it's 30 days. So whatever you're seeing today was 30 days ago. At least 30 days ago. So
they probably want to clean up the photographs.
Yeah, pretty much. They want to censor the photo, and plus they want to analyze the photo, so on and so forth. Yeah, I mean, crazy, right? But if that's true, and I already believe that they're already up the mountain. They claim that they're still trying to find their way up, and they might be starting to go up Mount Sharp itself, and I don't think that's the case at all. I think they've already been up and started up that mountain a long time ago.
Kyle says, say, hasta la vista, baby. There we go. Is that Spanish?
Hasta la vista. Yeah, get to the chopper. Let's see.
That's a good interpretation. Well done.
I try. Dave Haver, you said, Chris, I sent a Gigapan some weeks ago via email. Did you ever get a chance to view it? There are loads of artifacts. I almost positive I did, Dave. I'm going to go back and check them out. Everything I've gotten off the emails, I put in a download filter, a folder rather, so I can actually go and check them out later. So this way here, I'm trying to get through each and every one of them so that, everybody will get a chance to have theirs viewed, right? Because we don't want to leave anybody out if we can. If we just want to keep everybody in the loop and check out everybody's stuff. And here's the thing. I mean, I've had other people send me photos, some really, really good stuff. So like I said, I put it in the folders, but then you're like, okay, you try like heck to get to them. Now, I got the 2 videos out this week, but I want to get out more than that. And it's kind of tough to do that. A while back, I had some people get mad at me. Oh, I sent you this a long time ago, man. How come you haven't gotten to it? It's like, if I could show you my email, you'd probably understand why. Because I get quite a bit of people sending me stuff. And, a lot of it's just, just saying, hey, great work, this, that, and the other. So that's cool. So, yeah. Definitely, I'll definitely get to it and see what we got here. Yeah, Tony, eat fresh. Oh, well, we'll just drink fresh. Anyway, Jean, you got some good pictures up here. And I'm going to just, lose our faces right now.
Are you going to put up the Gigapan first?
Well, I'm going to put up that one. I'm going to get rid of that one. And I'm going to get rid of...
Oh, the structure?
Yeah. I'm going to get rid of us for a second here. And bring on these. Now, I'll tell you what I liked the most. It was this one here. It was the ancient salt mines or agriculture farms discovered on Mars. Now, this is a Jean's page. You can see it up here. And it's the Raptor Zone. And we're going to go down to this. This is cool. This is the one I thought was really amazing. I'm going to bring it up, see if it'll jump right in there. It does. Guys, just looking at this right off the bat, I was just like, whoa, this is cool. So, Jean, you know which one we're looking at. We're looking at all the lines and stuff like that, and it looks like an agriculture or some kind of salt mine. Explain what you found in here. I'll jump back to the regular page. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and explain what you found in this.
Chris, if you compare the shapes of those, the patterns at those walls, I speculate those are walls that they're about 20 meters wide, and they're uniform. They're uniform in width. They look like salt mines that you find here on Earth. Those were the evaporating water salt mines.
Right.
They're actually a mine for salt on the surface of the Earth. It looks very similar to that. And then also the walls that they build around rice paddies in Asia. You've got the same shapes.
Right.
You've got rectangles. You've got rounded corners and 90-degree angles and parallel lines. Look at that. It's incredible. And then in that circular depression, we've got a cross.
Yeah. Yeah, right here on the left-hand side, you can see that circle. Now, I'm going to show you something. I put it in Photoshop for the heck of it, and this is what I come up with. This is amazing. And it really, really defines this area pretty well. I'm going to bring this right in. And what do you think of this once this thing pops up? Because, Jean, you're also watching the same exact time that our subs are. So we'll let this jump on the screen, and then you can tell me what you think. Now, I brought it really dark, and I brought the brighter areas down so we can make this more definitive. It should have popped in right now.
Wow. That's incredible.
To me, that's insane.
It looks like walls of an ancient city.
Yes. Here's the funny part. You jump down here. I'm trying to remember exactly right here. Look at this. Once it pops in on that end, they'll see it as well. But you can see these weird lines here. I'm going to just go ahead and draw an outline of this one here. And you have what looks like these little structures, and then you got this other piece right here. I mean, I don't know what the chances of that. Now, keep in mind, I believe a lot of this has been manipulated, obfuscated, and you can see like some of the pots are pretty clear within reason, and then you look up in this area here, it's got all this kind of blurriness going to it, and on a lot of this as well. What I do see, and it kind of looks weird, like you can see the very top here, like let's say the very top of the walls, and then just below it gets blurry. I wonder if these are actually full with water. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I've seen other high-rise photographs. Actually, what was that? Mars Global Surveyor.
Yeah.
the one just before the MRO,
Yep.
actually took photographs of an area on Mars that looked like it was a lake.
Yeah.
And it had, Will Ferrar actually featured it too. And it looked like it had a beach area with
Mm-hmm.
a pier with those poles that
Okay.
are spaced equally apart.
Yep.
It looked just like it, and it had like vegetation around it.
Yeah.
But when you look in the high-rise photograph, it's gone. All that detail is gone.
Imagine
So I
that.
don't know what's going.
Let me do this. Let me get rid of that
The
box there.
global survey picked up a lot more anomalies, but at lower resolution, of course. But this is amazing, the way the detail that you brought out there.
Well, that's what I mean. I like to bring out as much as I can, get more in depth. That gives it more depth to it, and just that circle alone with that cross in it. What? I mean, I look at that. And first of all, this area here is just mind blowing because, and this is a good catch by the way, because I love this. Come on, what's the chances of this? Let me make this a little bit bigger because I know sometimes you guys are on the smaller devices. Right here, what is the chances of this thing doing this? This one almost looks like it would be completed, but it isn't. But check out the actual, it's almost the same shape as the way this one here and the inner one does. We almost have that here. The only difference is we didn't have it in this section. But check out the way those things are, man. Look at this. Now, have you measured from here to here and vice versa? Because this one obviously, well, clearly this one's bigger right here, right? But I'm just kind of curious if you've measured more than one of these to get an idea just, how big they are. And, of course, you have to wait a little bit until this all fills in. But you can see where I draw the arrows. But those two walls or three walls, you got one wall in the middle I just drew. And you've got the other ones there. I mean, have you done any of these square areas, the inside, and figured out how big they were?
I would say the distance between those walls averages about 800 meters, 500, round about there.
Okay.
Actually, I can open.
I'm trying to equate that, what that comes out to, like either a mile or feet or whatever.
I can actually open it here on my side, and I can tell you, Chris.
Yeah.
Let's quickly see. I've got a scale indicator that will make it a little easier.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
Thank you again, Kyle. I appreciate you. You said it looks like Nazca lines. I mean, it has that uncanny look, like it just does not look natural to me. Now, can nature carve certain things in the ground? Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. And it can actually almost look like it's artificial, meaning not naturally made. But some of these things are just the way they're connected. You notice the walls are pretty darn straight, too. I mean, except for the ones on this side here. You can see where they are not straight. But this might have been done purposely, or why would they need to be straight? I mean, think of it. If you got a certain amount of property, it's kind of like a lot of people, not all the land is the same. But I noticed right here, let me go ahead and bring this back up here. Let me go do this. Right in this corner, look at the way this thing meets. I mean, if this is wind and water erosion or something like that, how does all of these connect so perfectly or pretty darn close? And keep in mind, this might have been here for how many years? So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been covered over a lot of sand and dust.
Yeah.
Probably due to wind. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Chris, I'm making a mistake here in my calculation. 0.25. Oh, my calculator's running hex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm running in hex. Can you believe it?
Oops. Whoopsies.
Oh, they're about 5,600 meters apart. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Now, what does that come out to feet?
I don't know. Divide by 4, isn't it? No.
I just go to the converter on Google. put in meters to feet or miles. Oh, it depends on what you're measuring too, you know.
Yeah. It's incredible.
That's a great question, Violet. You said they channeling the water? Oh, they are channeling water. I mean,
Oh, that we saw in Jezero
yeah, okay.
with those trenches or canals
Okay, yeah. Yep.
that were 3 meters wide. All those canals are 3 meters wide. Remember, we had a look at that about 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this is definitely pooling water.
I found this
Maybe
interesting here. I don't know if you've seen this, but in this circle, we got something right here, which is very small, but... All right, but the circle, if you look at it, it's pretty darn... I mean, what are the chances of that doing this the way it's doing it? Of course, I'm not going to be completely perfect on this, but what I see is this right here, like it's maybe a depression. You guys see that? Right in here. Almost like it's an inlet. And something right here, there is an inner circle. You can see that. Again, it's not going to be perfect. Then you get this, what looks like something's higher up. To me, these look more like walls than like a channel itself, where it's actually, in other words, you got two sides to it and it's actually channeling water. It looks like walls to me, like you would put up in a property, like a stone wall property.
Yes, yes, those are walls, if you look at the shadows.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty interesting. This circle itself, what are the chances of that? And it's one thing you say, well, that could have been a crater. And I'll go with that, you know, because, you know, obviously it can do that. But then you got one in the inside, and then you got the X. So what is the chances of that? And then having this depression on this side, which looks like it's lower than the rest of it. At least it has that kind of weird look to it right there. See that?
Mm.
So you got the inner and outer, like I said. Got the cross. Then you got that indention. Or it looks like a depression, like it's lower. You can see it like it has a different shade to it.
Oh my word! I wonder what that was.
I don't know. And here's the thing: when you get this huge circle, okay, I'm just going to do this quickly so it ain't going to come out right. And then you got all of these other lines that look like they were literally put there intentionally, meaning it's not something by nature. It was put there intelligently. And to me, that's what it looks like to me. Now, could we be wrong? Sure. But I don't know, man. To me, that just does not look like nature did it.
It looks like a collapsed dome.
Yeah, it does.
Dome-like structure. Wow. Okay.
I'll be all right. Let me see. Hate it when that happens. Had a nasty itch. I was looking at here in the bottom too. It's just weird. It looks like there's multiple walls and stuff running in different directions here, and this one in the lower right. Well, it doesn't go like that. It kind of goes like this. Looks like a separate wall here in the center, and then looks like another one kind of faded here.
Chris, the second image on my blog page shows those structures a little bit further south. And there's also some really interesting stuff there. Then you'll be able to make out that area you're looking at now.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what we got.
There's a large chunk of it in the second image, if you want to bring that up.
Oh, you're talking about the second one down, the next one down from it? Okay. Yeah, let's bring this up here. Yeah, I mean, you can just see it's like riddled with, like, it's almost like somebody squared off and basically surveyed their land and then put walls up. That's what it looks like to me. Or like you said earlier, it could be some kind of agriculturing area. I don't know. This is just weird, man. Now, of course, I didn't put this into Photoshop. But look at this. What are the chances of this one on the bottom here doing that? You'll see. I can't put a marker on it because we're live on this page, but it literally comes down and goes around and then down to the bottom. Like I said, I'll wait until this thing gets up here. But I got the cursors actually pretty big. I can go in there and make the mouse heading real big. And when I see it on the end result, it's like this little tiny little thing. And it seems to be, the problem with it is through the actual software that I'm using. You can't make it bigger in that for some reason. I don't know what it is. I've looked and there's no way around it. You just can't use it on there. I don't know why the mouse settings you couldn't make bigger. I don't know. Which is really bizarre, but yeah. Make that a little bit. All right, there we go. Let me see. Yeah, do you see that way at the bottom there? Jean, you can see it right here. I'm just going to do it the cursor. Let's see if it goes to the bottom. The very bottom line in the middle, it looks like it's going down and then stops and goes off to the right and then down. What is that? How is a natural, anything going to do that? I'm looking at a lot of these lines here, like the one almost at the top of the page in the middle looks like a Y. It's shaped like a Y. It's almost like these stones or whatever they are have been placed there. This is not something it doesn't appear to be. Let me get this a little more zoomed in.
If you look at the images further down on that page, you'll see rows of megalithic blocks in some of those walls.
Now, which one are you talking about? Because we got this one here. We get the top one, the next one down we just looked at, and then you got a third one, and I think it's the fourth one you're talking about where you get the blocks. You can see them up close. Let me zoom into that one here. Oh, that's a rather big one here. It's taking actually a little time to load this. Yeah, it's like you can see them now. Really, really cool. It's almost like it was put there, somebody had done that. Let me see here. Trying to see what the heck this is.
Some of those blocks are 5 by 5 meters in size, Chris, to give you an idea.
Oh, really? That is pretty darn big, then.
Yep.
Let me zoom into these. Let's see if we can find anything that's a little more unusual here. What do you think?
Okay.
Well, right at the bat, you got this one over here. It looks like it's like a triangular shape, right here. Like I said, the cursor's a little smaller on the actual what these guys are seeing, but you can still see it. A little yellow arrow there. But it looks like on the left-hand side of this, looks like this white kind of pointed triangular shaped rock. And you can just see it now. I'm going to be pointing to it right there. I'm going to go around it here.
Yeah.
That is just, to me, that's pretty cool. Let me see here. Let me go across. And even if these are just boulders, that's fine. I mean, because clearly they're going to build out of natural stuff, right? So, but to me, it just seems weird how these things, like they're all laid out in a row purposely. And you got to remember, these might have been a lot sharper and a lot taller, but over the years, the wind, hit on both sides of these boulders. And of course, you get these, I'm going to call them sand drifts, as opposed to a snow drift. And you'll get it on each side of the wall. And it would make sense to me. Yeah, that's cool.
Chris, what would happen if a glacier melts and it cracks up?
Yeah.
And the water drains in through the sand? Will it make shapes like this? I don't know.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Mother Nature can do some crazy things, but hell, I don't know. Be truthful with you.
There's just too much geometry. And if you look at that GigaPan that I sent you the link to, you'll see some shapes there that makes it impossible, in my opinion, for it to have been a glacier that melted.
Okay, let me see this.
And this is in the mid-latitudes of Mars, where it's warmer. You'd
All right.
expect the glaciers to be more in the higher latitudes and not the mid latitudes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, I did see this. This is actually pretty darn cool. Now, again, we're seeing this weird. Is this done by nature or is this done by, you know, uh, is it natural or has this been designed this way? What do you guys think on this? This one's cool
No,
too.
if you look at some of those semicircular designs, they actually one's actually mirrored.
Yeah.
Um, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And the arcs are offset by 20 meters.
Huh. Yeah, you got
It's
like this
weird.
right here. Going, it goes, slopes up on the left, goes straight across, slopes down on the right. Of course, it doesn't come down exactly the way the left did, but regardless, that is cool. And like I said, the big main one here, that's pretty interesting here. That almost like a rounded corner square almost. At least the three sides, it almost appears that way. And then the fourth, it's got that other kind of weird thing right there in the smack dab of all of these lines. I think that's just interesting. The thing just jumped on me big time as far as the. Architect Nick says, I think Jean Ward initially thought of it being a rice paddy is high probability. Sure. Yep. I think you even mentioned that, didn't you?
I did. And I've actually got photographs of a rice paddy and the salt mines in Peru
Yeah.
on that blog as well. And you can see the patterns are repeated. Although on Mars they're a little bit bigger. The walls are a bit wider and the gaps between them are a bit further.
Right.
But the patterns are very, very similar.
These are interesting shapes here. Now, these might be nothing more than big dunes, although I don't know what it is per pixel as far as size-wise.
25 centimeters per pixel.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, you can see these on the screen now. They kind of look like these sand dunes. Right here, you can just see because some of them, you can see the actual waviness to them and everything else. Like, these could be. But what I find is the one right smack dab in the center, right here, and it looks like it's off the ground. It actually has a shadow right there. Coming around, goes like this here, goes around like this here. I think that's pretty interesting. I mean, hate to go too far into a photo, then it starts a little degradation there. I don't really like to do that. Let me see what else we got here.
Now, Neil Spence did a great job with this gigapan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this really came out good.
Yeah.
Let me zoom way into these here. Well, I don't want to go too far in, because then it really starts to look like crap. But here's a perfect example. Look at the way these stones are right here. The way they're lined up. I mean, can nature do some crazy stuff, like I said? Yeah. But, man, that's just weird, the way that looks almost perfectly straight across. And you'll see it, these guys will all see it there in a second, where it has these, I'll put them right in the middle of the screen here. And I decided, like I said, when you zoom in, it just looks like they're lined up pretty well. See
Exactly.
that? And it's the way, it's almost like they've been put there purposely, right?
Mm.
Ian, you said there's one of Jean's blocks with a nub in the center of it. Well, like I said, we had talked about when we looked at these things. Remember, I told you about the last one when I had gave you a shout out in the last live feed, where I was talking about that rectangular block with all of those, those. It almost looked like chimneys, kind of thing. It almost like square chimneys sticking out. And depending on the angle of the sun, they looked like they had a good shadow to them, like they were quite tall. Again, I don't know what the what the angle of the sun was, but still, what's the chance of this rectangular block? And I think it was quite large, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's see, about 14 meters long and about 8 meters wide, which makes those funny knobs about 1.5 meters wide.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say they're about 1 meter or two up, straight up.
Right. That's pretty.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. That's good size. I mean, it doesn't have to be extremely large, but that's pretty good size.
Mm.
And like I said, they look that they've been laid out. I mean, some of these things are really darn straight, man. It's like, and then of course not so many. Some not so much. But I just, like I said, this one here, these are awesome. Let me see what we got here in this. Yeah, look at the square, man. Look at the angle of these, almost 90 degrees perfectly. And it'll be on the screen so everybody can see that. At 216 Kenny, thank you very much for your support. It is appreciated. He said the double circle and cross looks very similar to the Richat structure. I have the Sahara. Love your channel, tons of knowledge. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, and for your support as well. Yeah, I mean, just some of these things, like, because they always say there's some kind of link, meaning there's a link between Mars and, of course, Egypt and so on and so forth. And I don't doubt that for a minute if there was a possibility that there was life on both planets, right? Both Mars and Earth. And I've speculated that. Like at some time in the distant past, we could have been, had a civilization on both planets. How do we know we didn't fly back and forth at some point? And then all of a sudden, bam, all of a sudden something catastrophic happened to Mars. And of course, we are what's left of the two of them. And, most of them perished or they came here. I don't know. Again, pure speculation. But I find it interesting. Like this piece right here. What do you make of this right here in the middle of the screen, John? This is cool.
I'm not sure. Can you zoom in a bit closer, Chris?
Oh, I'm just saying, even just the corners. I mean, you can see like a half a square here. You got a corner down at the bottom, and you go to the top one. There's another corner right there. See that? This whole opening, this whole area. And then you got, of course, it looks like a mountain range or something in the middle of it, but this whole area's got like a half a square around it. That, to me, right off the bat, is like, what? Is that natural? I don't know.
There's so many right angles and perpendicular intersections.
Absolutely.
Strange sets. It's incredible.
Let's go to, this one's pretty cool too. I'm going to go to your other page here. A strange derelict structure, transit hub. Now, I've seen this video. This is cool. This one's pretty cool. I'm going to put both pictures here so people can see what you're actually trying to convey, where you have what looks like a half-round circle, and it looks like it has little support. So I don't know if you're saying, I think you said it was like you can see like the outer edge of something round, and it looks like it has support legs on it. And
yes.
And that is just cool. Describe this a little bit for us. I got both pictures. I got the one that has the lines actually drawing it out, and then, of course, the one that's raw.
Okay. Well, Chris, that looks like, to me, like some type of transport or transit hub. It's got this central dome-like feature, which may have collapsed. And then coming out of it, we've got sort of rectangular pipes with right angles to them. It looks like you'd find at a modern airport, for example.
Exactly.
I don't know if that is purposely built that way or whether it's been covered in sand with over time. But look at the parallel lines to it and the gap or the spacing between those lines.
Right. Yeah, what's the chance of nature doing that?
Yeah, and that part of the ring that you can see is 30 meters across, so which makes that circular structure about 60 meters in diameter, so it's quite huge.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, like I
Um,
said, I don't think nature's going to do that.
so I'm not sure what to make of it, Chris. If it was here on Earth, it would be a pretty small structure.
Right.
But if there were smaller creatures or humanoids on Mars, that would be a huge structure.
True. Yeah.
Um, so, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
mean, I've seen things on some of these Martian photos that kind of go against what your brain would tell you. In other words, you're thinking in the size of us, and you think, well, if there's any other beings like on Mars or any other planet, surely they must be our size. Well, we know that Mars is a little bit, I think it's a little over half the size of Earth, meaning, so half the size, but a little over half. I think it's like 60% roughly of Earth. So let's suppose it had people our size and smaller ones, because I've seen things like these carved out rocks with detail on them, and I'm going, these things literally fit in the palm of your hand. How is this possible? So is it possible they had both? They had both large and small civilization on Mars, or was it always just all small? And this is the reason why, even if there was some alive today, they wouldn't be a threat to us. Think about it. Can you imagine? And of course, I'm going to just speculate like mad right now, but let's suppose you're only 5-6 inches tall. Can you imagine what that rover looks like to you? Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God. This thing would look like Godzilla, mechanical Godzilla coming at you. So, I mean, these things would be incredibly large. Let's see.
So I'm not sure. Could that have been a dome-like structure in the past?
Well, being the way it's shaped, it's either a platform and it might have had water next to it, or like you said, it might have been a dome type thing.
Or maybe it's an industrial plant,
Could be.
and those are pipes.
That could be. I mean, again, we can only speculate, but when you see something like that half round, it tells me a couple things, like I was just saying. It's either on the edge of maybe a lake, some body of water, and of course the water is now gone. And is it possible that the whole thing is actually there? Or was it built off the side of a hill? We don't know. But to me, that clearly is not natural. You know, I just don't think it is. And it looks like it's in ruins as far as I'm concerned. When I look at the raw photo, it looks like it's in ruins.
And there's just too many right angles there, parallel structures, equal distance between them.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know what in nature would make something like that.
Well, it's exactly my thoughts. You know, I'm looking at that thing and I'm just saying, what? Wow, it's
Yeah.
crazy, man. It's just, I don't know. When I see something like that, it just doesn't. You know, it clearly looks like it's intelligently made. Now, is it possible it's natural? I guess. You know, it depends on how it just come off the side of this area here. Maybe at some point, water erosion, wind erosion. Very good possibility. We got to keep our minds open to the possibility of that too, right? So, you know, I don't have a problem with that either way. But to me, it kind of does look like it had some intelligent design to it. Let's see real quick. I wanted to say shout out to two of the ladies in there. Miss Heard, good to see you in there. And Sarah Michelle, good to see you in there as well. Hope you're doing good, both of you there. Let's see. Yeah, no beer in here yet, Sarah. We're just, we're designated YouTubers. We don't want to, like, pass out at the at the microphone here. So, yeah, we got to wait until after that. Then I can commence. Let's see. Anybody else? What do you guys think about this what we're looking at here? Bobby Pentland, what's going on? You said something for living underground. Yeah, well, see, that's what I'm saying. When you see these structures, it makes you wonder, were some of these just above ground structures? Were they like half and half? Like they were built under, you know, on the top as well as the bottom? I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe this was covered over, Chris, and those are passageways that we see there.
Yeah, that could be.
Like corridors and passageways and things.
Yeah, now we're seeing them exposed at some
Yes.
point. Maybe like I said, something catastrophic, and all we're seeing is the wall standing, and maybe the rooftops have been ripped off of these things, and all we're seeing is what's left, right?
Yeah, if you look at tunneling underneath the pyramids,
Yeah.
they follow pretty much the same sort of pattern,
Yeah, they do. Absolutely do.
which is weird.
Architect
Maybe
Nat, you
this
said
is,
you were directing this at Jean Ward. You said the only thing that is natural that can make that is something like an intelligent being, and I think we all agree with that.
yeah, that's a good one.
Nicholas Snyder said that looks like a base if I ever saw one.
It does, like a moon base.
Let's see. You can explain this one here. Matching anomalies discovered in southern. I think it's
Oh,
Agira?
yes, those blocks.
Yeah,
Those
region
those
on on
megalithic
Mars. Yeah,
blocks.
here's one right
There's
here.
two of them next to each other, and they're the same size.
Well, I'm looking at the first two, and they look like just large blocks, as we can see that. I wonder now.
Slabs, yeah. Like, oh, okay. Let me wait until you scroll down. I'm a bit behind.
Yeah, you
It's one
will.
of
You're
the.
seeing the same thing they're seeing. Uh,
Mm,
James Craig, and he said, Chris, I'm telling you, some of these structures are huge. Let's not forget about that. Oh, no doubt. But let's suppose these were little people on Mars. I'm going to go down to the third one here, Jean. Let's suppose they were very small. Then these structures could be okay size to us, but be incredibly large like the structures we live in. In other words, they're pretty much uniform to our size. We have built our own structures so we can live in them pretty comfortably, where if you were half, maybe tenth of the size of you wouldn't need much. It would be like the same thing you see in your own home. In other words, it would be, uniform to their size. So
mm,
kind of makes sense.
yeah. Okay, those blocks, I think, are a bit further down on the page, Chris. And then there's also a strange structure with right angles to it. It looks like sheet metal or tiles that have been placed next to one another on that page as well, if you go down a bit.
Yeah, I went down. There's one that's darker and one that's lighter, it appears. And I think you got to click for larger scale, and it says a 1-to-1 scale, but you'll see it coming up pretty soon. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's cool. I mean, why is it that a lot of these blocks have these circles or some kind of rectangular pieces or square, what almost looks like chimneys on them? What do you think these things are that's coming off the top of these things?
Um, okay, there's a whole list of what it could be.
Yeah.
They could be those protrusions or knobs that you find in the megaliths down in South America.
Mm.
They've got these strange protrusions on them. They could be dwellings, for all that we know.
Yeah.
Or they could be some type of creatures that are looking for sunlight, going out into the middle of the block. Or they could be conductors of some type of aerial electricity.
True.
Or they could be markers.
Yeah.
They could be shrines. Or they could be hatches.
True. Well, what I like about these blocks here, you get the one that's got that kind of lighter area on it, and of course it looks like the other one to the right of it and on the top. It almost looks like the number one. But look just to the left of both, you got this weird little shape, and it's like 4 round dots or some kind of like little design to them. You see those faint little black darker spots. What's the chance of that doing that? That's kind of weird. Somebody said they look like exhaust system. Kyle said that to vent the carbon monoxide, so they are exhaust systems. Huh?
They could be smokestacks.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. I mean, it's not far fetched when you think we have. I like to call them stink pipes, like you got for your toilets and stuff, and then of course you got your chimneys and stuff like that. Why is it far fetched? I mean, look at the technology we got today, and we still have the same thing. Got to vent out gases, right? Yeah. And I think you show it right here in the video. I just brought it way down where you got your video, and it looks like them 2 blocks that you're talking about on the right-hand side in that particular still on the video. And I'm going to just go just up the next one up from it. And, yeah, you got 2 blocks. One looks almost perfect for crying out loud. And you get the other one that looks like the same size. I think that's the ones you're referring to.
Yep, 8 by 5 meters, both of them.
Yeah. James Cragen, thank you very much for your support, man. You said, Chris, the Mars rover is supposed to land in a 28-mile wide crater, which is Jezero. I think it is, Jezero crater. On the February 18th, 2021. Let's see what size is then in comparison to this now, 99 days away. Yeah, I mean, we're all curious to see what's going to happen with that. I can't wait to say either. But we had done a video on there, and I know this one here, wasn't this the one you just said it was in Jezero? Those other, what looked like those walls and stuff? Or was that another area?
No, those walls are near a place called Bad Water.
Okay.
That's weird, right? Bad water.
Yeah.
And we've got salt mines.
Yeah.
Why would they call it bad water?
Yeah. I thought there was no water.
Yeah. And then the canals and trenches that are found in Jezero aren't in that link that I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you go over to my blog and you search for 2020 rover, you'll see the link to that blog post, and then you'll be able to open the images that are captured for that specific area.
Here's that. I went back to the original when we looked at that circle where you have this circle right there on the screen. And really interesting shapes, man. This is just cool. I mean, I guess a vortex of wind can kind of cause this weirdness to it. But first of all, you got the circle, you got the cross in the middle, you got all the other what look like walls. I don't know, man. I just don't see it. Is it possible? Sure. It just doesn't look like that, right? Let's see. What was I saying? Better cameras on it, baby. We can see some more from the rover in 2021. Yeah, well, like I said, guys, I wasn't really holding my breath because when I think about how they changed what looks like AI algorithm kind of thing with what they're doing with the Martian photos, it has that weird fuzziness around it now where it seems like they kind of, what's the word I want to use? They started using it. So when the new rover starts taking pictures, this is going to be the norm. We're going to see that weird kind of manipulation now where it's not sharp corners. It's like fuzzy around everything you see. Imagine that. So we can get rid of some details so these people can't pick up on it. You see what's in this right in here. Okay, I thought it was something else in the very center of this photo here. But sometimes you actually have to put a little blur into these. But
yeah, but Photoshop's got some nice tools.
Yeah, well, sure it does.
That can undo a lot of their damage.
Okay, this is another good one in here. These blocks are up close. Good evening to you, Mags K. Like I said, Bobby's in there. Pascal, I think it's 5. Claire Mead is in there. She said hi all. Mike Knapp's in there, and a whole bunch of others there I didn't mention, so I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just like I said, we didn't have a whole lot of time with Jean, so we didn't want to waste too much of it there. Yeah, this is cool. Like I said, it looks like these were walls that were built, and then, of course, over time, windstorms and everything else filled in every, space and everything else you can think of with basically dirt. And you can see how it's running down into the corner of this. You can see like this. So these might be quite high. What was your guesstimation on the height of these? 2 or 3 meters, or was it?
Oh, the walls.
Yeah.
I would say 3 to 5 meters tall, Chris. A conservative guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so, good size wall.
it looks like they were damming up liquid water or something like that.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. I'm saying to myself, I wonder if they like making these like giant pools for something. Like you said, if it's agriculture, it would make sense, right?
Or to actually mine some type of mineral. Because when the water dries out, the mineral stays behind.
Right. Yep. Let me see here.
And
Intersecting.
obviously, this whole area has been covered in dust and sand.
Exactly.
But if you look at how much white, bright material there is,
Oh yeah.
I think it could have been something like salt.
Could very well be.
Because if you look at the pictures further down on that page, Chris, of the salt mine in Peru,
Oh
you'll
yeah,
see,
yeah.
those walls are brown, and here and there, it's white. So this is what we're seeing here as well in the black and white.
Yeah.
There's a couple of these white areas, which I don't know. It looks like some type of mineral that's been covered over in sand.
Yeah, it could very well
And if
be.
you look at this, if you look at the small dunes in these clearings, it's definitely a very flat, smooth area.
Yep.
And the way these have formed says to me it's flat inside there. That's weird. I don't know what else to make of it. Could be nature, but with the right angles and the uniform width of the walls and things.
Yeah, well, that's what I was
And
thinking.
the way those walls intersect, and they just stop. It's weird.
I'm just looking at this one real quick. This one you've got here, and I'm seeing like little white squares that are along these walls. Are they squares, or are they really? Is all of these really rocks, or something more?
And you see that bright structure that at the bottom of the pit. It's got terraces on it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm seeing. Wow, this is cool. Look at the little white squares in here. Are we sure these are rocks? Look at these right here. There's actually two of these things sitting right here. Together.
Yeah, I did find megaliths in these images, Chris.
I can't zoom in anymore.
And they're huge.
Yeah. So they're looking like to me too. Guys, I mean, even if you're looking at it on your small phones or anything, you know, just take your magnifying glass out. Look at these little. I'm going to put it right in the middle of the screen. Much as I can right there. And look at this middle section of these. It looks like they just try to like blur or just kind of like fade these things out, but you can see what looks like little shiny pieces and what look like squares in different shapes. Are we looking at artifacts of the photo? Well, let's see. Let's back out a little bit so we don't get that. And I'm still seeing these things. They don't appear to be like almost like a compression artifact if you zoom out. Right here on the right-hand side. Check this thing out. Let me move over to this side. This is cool. And I'm going to put it right in smack dab in the middle of the screen. There's a rectangular structure sitting right there. Actually, maybe several of them. I can't zoom any more than that, but right there, smack dab. I'm going to put my cursor just under it. That's cool. That doesn't look like your standard rock, or unless it's some kind of megalithic block. But look at this, two whiter dots on top of it. So, and then I'm looking around, I can see what looks like just squares in different shapes. I'm going, okay, when I back out, they still are the same shape. Wow. Even to the right here. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to just go around it with my cursor. So it's actually inside the circle. That rectangular piece there, smack dab in the middle of the screen. There's another white one on the side. Just maybe at about the 11 o'clock area. Right there. And then we have these others. And this is cool. I'll get to that in a second. I'm doing it right now. I'm going around. You guys can see that. And then when I go over to the right-hand side, wow. I don't know what the hell these are either, but they sure look like very right-hand side of that. I'm going to put it right in the middle, if I can. Right there in the middle. What are we looking at here? I'm telling you what, guys. It looks like structures in the middle of these things. I'm looking at, oh my God, look at this. You're going to love this one. This is even better. Now I'm going to just go over and circle a little bit here. Look at these. Wait till you see these, Jean. These are cool. And I know you're probably going to want to leave soon. Like I said, I don't want to see you fall asleep on the mic there. But right here, I don't know if you can see that, but let me see. Right there. And then what I'm going to do is the ones on the right-hand side, almost in the upper right corner, have a look at those little white pieces. It look like they went over it like with a tool or something like that to go over these things and block them out. There's actually squares and all kinds of shapes inside here. And they're whiter, like a silver, a white. Do you see that right there? Especially this one right here. This is cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom into that as much as I can. I don't think I can zoom into much. But I'm going to put these right smack dab in the middle of the frame. And have a look at these middle pieces. One that's really bright right here. And it looks like they took the lasso tool, and what they do is they took the ground and they put it over to try to block it out. But you can see squares with a black circle at the top of this one. This object behind it is actually whiter and like a silver. I think we're seeing structures in here. I'm going to be honest with you. That is just weird. Even on this ridge here, if we could look down at this rock, or this wall, I should say, where it almost comes together, you can see what looks like white squares and these different shape patterns right here on the wall. Were these?
I can make it up.
What is it?
I can make that out too.
I'm wondering now if, let's suppose, like you got like you see some of these roads that go out past the mainland and go way out into an island, that you have a road on this, and there's houses on either side of the road, and you have ocean on both sides. I wonder if that was the case, or these are actually structures all over the place. Just look at anywhere in this photo, guys. Anywhere right now where this thing's at. Look at these little white pieces sticking out. They're not just round or some kind of boulder. They're squares. They're rectangular. They have different shapes, especially the one here. This is wild. Oh, I can see it now. I'm going to have to enhance that for you.
Photoshop it.
Oh, this is cool. This has got a lot of cool stuff in here. And like I said, when you really get into these photos and really start to jump into them and just, magnify the crap out of these things, use your magnifier, suddenly you go, okay, are these really rocks or are they something more?
I wish I had more time. Then I'd actually analyze these photographs a little more.
Yeah.
But I always look at the bigger anomalies, and I put those out. And it's astounding how much detail is actually there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to maybe enhance this and give this to you. Because I love to find what's really in here. I love this because I'm wondering now if this is not something else. All right, Architect Ness says, Chris, zoom in, count pixels, multiply by scale factor of 25 centimeters. Yeah, you can do that. Yep. Does anybody else looking at these things? What are we seeing here? I usually see stuff Chris doesn't mention. The evidence is staggering for years now. Every picture. Yeah, Nicholas, you're right. I mean, I do notice a lot of this stuff, and I tell people a lot of times, listen, a lot of times I'll do the larger objects before I do the smaller ones. So a lot of people go, Chris, how did you miss this? It's not that I did. I just didn't want to go over every single piece because it would have took me forever to do it, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I'll do the major stuff first, right? So, yeah.
I do that too. I look at the bigger things, pop them out there, and then my subscribers find all the other detail, which I love. I just love it when my subscribers actually go in and have a look at these things up close.
Oh, yeah. The more you look into these things, you start going, okay, maybe, and this is the reason why you'll see me back out a lot of times, because I go, well, if I get too close, I'm going to start seeing compression artifacts. This is the last thing we want to say. So I'll back out. Now, at this point, you shouldn't see any artifacts at all, at least very little, if any, and yet I'm seeing all kinds of different shapes, what looks like structures in there, whiter or silverish color, or if you want to call it a color, like a reflective surface, if you will,
Yes.
James Cragen, thank you very much for your support, man. He said, cloth time for the CGI boys. Glasses again, come on. So that's cool. Oh, thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that. She just said, she had sent a little something for us, a little support. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I think you just said you've been hacked there again. I'm just so surprised. You gotta love their what's the word I'm looking for? Tenacity. You gotta just love it. How they're just persistent. Man, it just makes you wonder how come. Whether your name is in somebody else's mouth or something like that. It just makes you wonder. These people have a life at all, or, I don't know. It's just weird. Somebody's got to be thinking about you, talking about you constantly. It's either, what are they, jealous of you? Are you a threat to them? I mean, yeah, crazy, right?
Keyboard jockeys.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get these, people will do that. Other channels will do that. Things like that,
It's all part of the course.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just got to take it with a grain of salt. But some of these people get, they get into hacking and everything else, and it's just crazy. And it's just like, I just don't worry about it. Thank you, Elaine Walls, very much for your support. It is appreciated. He said, more cleaning clothes for NASA. James is going to be broke buying so many. Well, he's trying to break them. Yeah, he's trying to buy these guys some of these things because I guess they can't afford it with all the money they're spending on these missions. Heck, I'm just right look at this. I'm at the very bottom of this wall. Look at around this wall itself. There's no way these are just blocks. They're just, there's too many. Let me get my magnifying glass here. I'm just curious real quick. Oh, no. Check that, guys. You got to see that. Once I zoom into this, look at the bottom here. Right there, I got it right in the center of the screen. And have a look with your magnifying glass. There's no way. That's a city right there. You can, oh my God. Look at the way they're lined up. You talk about blocks and lined up, man. I can see this section right here. Just to the left of my cursor, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 5 or 6 blocks. Are they blocks or are they structures? This whole area is full of things that just are not rocks. There's no way they are. And if they are, I said this before, Mother Nature on Mars is insane. She's very crafty. Well, Jean, I'll give you the decision whether you want to jump off or not. It's been a little over an hour, so it's totally up to you. If you want to jump off or stay, it's up to you.
I think so, Chris. I think I'm starting to fade, so if I can hop off here, that would be cool. Thank you so much for featuring these anomalies, Chris. I appreciate it very, very much.
Oh, not a problem. I mean, I think it's great work that you're doing, so just keep on doing it. And like I said, I'm going to go through these for the heck of it and, see if there's anything we can bring out even more so.
Please do. Please do.
And I'll give them back to you. Yeah. I'll give them back to you and see what you think because I'm just like, whoa, wow. Just good stuff. But so everybody, say goodnight to Jean. He's going to jump on off here. I guess it's 12 or 1 o'clock at your time.
Just past 1.
Yeah, it's just past 1 o'clock. So yeah, I don't blame him. I think I'd probably be passed out at the microphone right now too. So anyway, thank you, Jean. Good to have you in there as always. You have a good weekend there, right? And we're going to talk soon about what we were just talking about earlier. We got a little something in the works here. If we can get it to crank up, that'll be awesome. So have a good night there, right?
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris, and to all your subscribers and friends. Ciao for now, everybody. I'll see you next time.
And he's out. Yeah, I mean, it's just really cool. Have you guys seen this too? Are you guys using your magnifying glasses on this? What are you guys seeing on this? Anna Marie says, thank you, Jean, buddy. Good night. James, everybody's saying good night to you, Mr. Jean. Yeah, I look at these things. You know how I am with these guys. I'm just like, I pick these things apart with a fine-tooth comb to see what we're really seeing in here. And I don't know about you guys. I just use my magnifier on this. And I'm just seeing some crazy things just in this area alone. Just this alone is cool. In fact, I'm going to try to bring this up to here. Let's see if we can't make this a bit smaller, shall we? And let me see what we're at here. We're at 250, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to try to get this whole thing into one picture. And we're going to save it. Cool, cool. Yeah, Tony, are you guys looking at these like that? Like I said, with the magnifier, or are you just seeing it on your, I don't even know what everybody's viewing it on, maybe a tablet or a phone or whatever. But, I mean, that's as far as I can go in there. It seems like just a little too much, because I'm starting to see it kind of distort just a little bit. Right there. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm seeing crazy, like I said, just right along here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing what looks like 4 darker brown blocks. This large white one compared to those. There's like a darker one in between that, and then a lighter one on the right-hand side of that one. I mean, we clearly can see on the right-hand side on the bottom, right? It's dirt. But when you look over here, and I don't see any compression artifacts unless we really zoom in, these are not. Look at this. They're scattered about, lighter in color compared to the actual gravel or dirt, whatever it may be. And check that out. All along this ridge, all the way down to here. There you go. No problem, John. You said, thanks again, Chris. I don't blame the guy, man. I mean, I get up at 5 o'clock every morning, and then I'm in work for 6, and, hustle in there all day long, and then come back out, and a lot of times I'll do videos and stuff like that. It'll wear you out a little bit. But it's, when you go to bed late, a lot of times I don't go to bed till like 11 o'clock. So you already wake up and you feel like you've been beat up a little bit, you know what I mean? If you guys haven't hit that thumbs up, please do so. It is appreciated. Let's whack the hell out of it. Yeah, Miss Here, it's unfortunate you get that kind of crap. It's really sad. I was just reading what you said. Hacking much, B? Yeah. It's sad. I mean, I don't really care what the people say anymore. Because here's the weird thing, and I don't know if you've ever seen this, and I know you guys have. Just about everybody here has. I was going, what the heck, it was a suggested video on there. You get those kind of like heartfelt videos where you have, servicemen and women coming back from tour of duty, and they'll come back to their loved ones, maybe at an airport or whatever, and they're like, all upset and crying and everything. It kind of jerks in the heartstrings, And you look over there and it's got thumbs down. How does people do this? How do you do that? It just seems like people are totally heartless today. Got nothing better to do. They're just evil. Like, oh, I know this person's going to try to post something, so I'm just going to be a thorn in his rear end. It's like, you're not hurting these people that are posting these videos. They want you to believe that they are. Or they want to say, yeah, you wouldn't believe what I did to his channel. What did you do? You did absolutely nothing. But it's sad that people are like that, that just, and especially the ones that talk about you left and right, like, that they're being attacked constantly, which, was confirmed already, from a person. I will not, name their name because they told me not to, or I agreed not to. And they just told me, for the record, this other person has never been hacked. So, yeah. But yet cries wolf, oh, poor me, me. Silly. Yeah, I mean, at some point, you can't give these people power. That's the problem. You can't. You give them power, and right off the bat, they just keep going with it, right? I just read your, on that messenger. Yeah, I hear you. But, it's like I got to the point where I go, why bother? It's just, to me, it's a joke, right? It's like, let them think they're doing something to you and stuff like that. I just don't give them any fire. Don't give them anything to talk about. They want to talk about me. Again, I've said this before. I go, listen, if you're talking about me, you're leaving other people alone. And it's sad that even if you don't say anything to any of these people, it doesn't have to be a particular person, suddenly they're still hell-bent on talking about. It's like, are you afraid of this person? Do you feel they're a threat? Because I don't know about you, because when I'm not afraid of anybody, I don't talk about them. I just don't. And even then, I'm not afraid of anybody. But if I had something to say to somebody, I would say it. And I don't know. They just got nothing better to do, I guess. Thank you, Mr. Bobby Penland. I appreciate your support. Thank you, he says. Well, thank you. Much appreciated. James Cragen, you said, Chris, the thumbs down. People are just pure jealous. That's the truth, man. The hell with them clowns. I mean, I've always said that. I go, listen, don't give them any power. That's the last thing you want them to do. I mean, that'll happen, Claire. You said I have clicked thumbs down and arrow before. You know, sometimes you can do that, you know, just doing it real quick and you do a thumbs down. Ooh. And then, of course, you hit the thumbs, you know, you click it again and it's thumbs back off. But there's some people out there that just, like I said, it's almost like I've seen this happen where some channel will get nothing but thumbs up. And it's this one person goes, man, they don't have any thumbs down. Let me be the first. It's just, what is the mentality here? You know what I mean? I think it's just funny. Yeah. Blue Sunset, you said white dots on the shadow side of the cliff. Yep, right here. And you can see that. It's almost like on the right-hand side going down, you can see the slopes down in the mountain. I wonder if this was actually water-filled at some point. And what we're seeing is on the edge is where all these structures were. And this was an ocean or body of water here in the lower right. What do you guys think about that idea? Or do you think at one point there was water in here, and then, of course, it was gone a long time ago, and now what you're seeing here is they built structures into it. Just kind of like we got the craters there on the moon where these beings, or they built their structures, their civilization, into a lot of these craters. Is that possible? Oh, it's not a problem there, Tanya. I understand. And I'll let John know. Michael Bray, rather, I'm sorry. He said, how long has it actually been since the last of the water disappeared on the surface? That's a great question. Of course, they'll tell you millions upon millions of years. I don't think it was quite that long ago. I really don't. Again, if we go back to where the story goes, where there was two large explosions in Mars's atmosphere in 1941, they actually seen this looking through an observatory, an actual telescope, and saw this happen. So I'm going, is this when this took place? Meaning vaporized everything on the planet, as far as water and everything else, everything just went out into the atmosphere, and that was the end of it. Who knows? So you kind of like, did it all happen at that point? I don't know. I really don't. Just cool stuff, right? It's, I don't think it's been that long ago. Even because, we've seen some structures and some things on there. And if it was millions of years old with nothing to maintain them, in other words, kind of like us, if we all disappeared off this planet tomorrow, how long would the structures last here with nobody maintaining them? So it's a very good possibility that, the same thing happened there. And if that's the case, if it's millions upon millions of years ago, you wouldn't probably see anything left of these structures. Think about it. You definitely wouldn't see anything here. Whitebeard Sky Daddy. It's simple, man. The worst douchebags don't know they're douchebags. Yeah, that's true. It is what it is. Before I used to get offended by it, but then, if somebody called me out, and then, of course, I call them back out, and everything I claimed that they said to me, I could actually back it up. And some other channels can't do that. They'll say and they'll claim, but they never back it up. And it's not just any one particular person I'm talking about. There's other channels. My buddies have their own and been attacked by these people and said, and then they turn it around being narcissistic they are. Oh, he did it to me. They're attacking me. No, that's not true. But again, I had a good friend of mine. His channel was attacked. This was years ago. And, of course, he stopped doing these a long time ago anyway, these videos. But he was attacked. And the other person claimed, he attacked me. Mm-hmm. I always use the analogy. You ever watch those, like, oh, God, what is it? Some of these little talk shows where the people claim, he or she's cheating on me. They're cheating. I swear they are. And next thing you know, they're the one that's the cheater. Well, that's the way I look at them. You know what I mean? Josh D says 30 people need to hit the thumbs up, please. Do or I have to abduct you in my UFO. Uh-oh. Let's not do that. FV, you said I don't give a thumbs down regardless if I dislike or disapprove. I simply click away. Well, that's the way I am, right? I see something of any value in it, and I go, oh, wow, that looks like a good video. And I might go, okay, it's not what I thought it was. I'm not going to go thumbs down. For what reason? It's almost like, I guess, whatever gets them through the day, makes themselves feel better, makes them feel more like a grown-up. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it makes them feel good, like I said, before they go to bed. I don't know. And like I said before, I used to care. I just don't. It's just whatever. It's not, you're not hurting me in any way, shape, or form. They just feel better. I guess it is. Yeah, Bobby Pentley was, you said it was 1940s. Yeah, it was 1941 when that particular event happened. So, so if you do the math, is that what caused a great catastrophe on Mars and vaporized all the water and did everything to it? We just weren't privy to it because not everybody back in 1941 had a telescope that can look out at Mars. Think about it. So we would be totally in the dark about it. So is that the case? I don't know. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Arts and Crafts. Even if they're haters, they like it enough to have notifications on. Yeah, I always thought of that too. It's like if I don't like a channel, and I don't mean because I have a personal hate for the person, I just go, listen, if I don't like the channel, I'll watch them. Oh, it's not what I thought it was. It's not the same content I thought it was, and it really doesn't do anything for me. I just don't go back to the channel. I don't get notifications. I don't subscribe to them. I don't do any of that. I just, okay, it's not what I thought it was. And I don't have to have a hate for the channel. I just don't, that's it. That's all. Chris Blake, he said, Chris, I'm looking at the picture. Are the walls sticking up out of the ground or going inward like an optical illusion? That's hard to tell. That's a great question, man. And I'm wondering, like I said, if you look at these walls, are they really walls or are they just an edge of a cliff? Kind of, because you can see it right, like I said, right here on the right-hand side at this V-shaped, I'm going to say junction. It looks like it goes down into this might have been a giant lake of water at one time because you don't see anything down here. There's one little piece right here on the right-hand side. It looks like it's got a little bit of a silver area, little tiny white speck, but then the rest of it, nothing. You go up here on the left-hand side of this line, and it looks like there's all kinds of weird structures and rocks, of course, and dirt. But right here on the edge, it almost seems like you would see here on Earth where there's a lot of, structures on like a beachfront. It kind of has that weird uncanny kind of look. I don't know. Jared McDonald said, there is just nasty people out there, Chris. Come across them most days in my security job. Yeah. You kind of hope there'd be better people out there, a lot better than there are bad. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just situational where, things are getting bad and craziness going on, but a lot of these people have been doing this for years, man. They're just hateful. That's just all there is to it. What else can you say, right? Daniel Webster said, they said on this planet, within 10,000 years, the only thing left would be solid gold and stone, and the tall buildings would crumble within 10,000 years, probably much sooner. Oh, yeah, it definitely. But even if they didn't actually crumble, nature would take over them. In other words, they'd be almost grown into the surrounding. The trees would overcome them. You get creeping vines all over these things would cover them up, and they'd almost look like just tall, mountains as opposed to a structure at some point. Because, I think it wouldn't even take a couple hundred years, and everything would crumble because there's nothing to really maintain them, unless, of course, it's really sturdy, like the pyramids of Giza. That's the only way I can see that it'd be something like that, right, that would last. I don't know. Anna Marie says, true, the water disappeared rapidly, I think. And you're right. I believe that, too. I mean, if you had like a total, like I said, to have two of these, one was a very large explosion, the other one's a little smaller, but still, midair, boom, this blast goes out. We don't know how large this was. This could make our atomic and nuclear bombs combined, make it look like a firecracker. We don't know. And it's enough to devastate everything on the planet. just a concussion from these things would just lay everything over. And, of course, you got the ocean, and cause tidal waves of immense size and pretty much knock everything over. We've seen areas where it looks like the water has washed over these areas, so it's a very good possibility. I don't know. Kyle, a good one. He said people who give thumbs down are the type of people who will not let traffic merge in. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, spiteful. It's just like, why be so hateful? Isn't there better things to do? Like move on and just enjoy your life. I don't know. Well, like I said, I mean, when they come down, they do this to my videos. I mean, like I said, my last video, I didn't have it on 5 minutes. Thumbs down. So whoever it is subscribed to me. They purposely subscribed. So when you get a notification, thumbs down. And that's fine. That's like, listen, you're not hurting me in any way, shape, or form. What's the point? Do it all day long for all I care. I mean, like I said, it's not hurting me in any way, shape, or form. It's not, I don't know. Maybe they get a rise out of it. I don't know. Just bizarre. I see that. Let me see what I got. Ian, you said check out the small upside down white T shape just to the right of the where the three walls join. Yeah, he's talking about right here. Right here. I'm going to try to put the cursor right next to it and go around it. Just go right underneath it and around it. And that is just crazy, guys. These things are sticking out past this so-called wall or cliff. I'm starting to think this is more of a cliff, and there was water here. Because you can look where that T is, Ian. You can see that white structure just above it and to the right. There's a white structure sitting, or a reflective object, whatever it may be. But right there, you can see the T. And you've got that white piece right on the right-hand side of it. What do you guys make of that? Look inside the docker areas, too. Right in here, there's a large square item right here, with other structures here. So this might have been not quite as low, and then it drops really down to the ocean area. But, for some reason, who knows? Maybe the water's receded at some point, because we have that happen here on Earth. Water receded, and maybe they decided to build a little further down off of this ridge, so to speak. And you can see something large in these other structures sitting right here. See that? Now, some of these, and I get that, they could very well be compression artifacts, and that's what you got to be careful about. So if I take a look at this photo in the future, I'm going to try to zoom out so that I don't get any kind of compression artifacts and try to bring them out, right? Olin Creel, what's going on? You said, hello, Chris. Hello, how are you? Yeah, Alien Tenor, you're right about that, yeah. I know what you mean. Ian, you said, hey, Chris, just noticed a big horizontal black band at the junction where the three walls are joined. Is that compression artifact, or are they hiding something? I think that it's hard to tell if it's in the shadow area. Maybe it's not, that it's not being hidden. But, because, I'm seeing all this other stuff to the left of this whole ridge, and I can see things that are reflective, like whiter or silverish or reflective. Call it what you will. Or just white in general, lighter colored than the dirt or surrounding gravel or whatever it may be. So, yeah, it's hard to tell. But I can see things on the edge here, especially halfway down. I'm going to put this right in the middle. Smack dab in the middle of the screen. All of these pieces right on this ridge. Just look at this stuff, guys. There's no way this is natural. Just no way. CC My Harley D, what's going on? You said, I don't think YouTube count thumbs down against you. I don't think they do either, to be truthful. In fact, I might have even heard that a while back that they don't. So, these people want to just go ahead and do that. Hey, like I said, if it makes them feel like a bigger man at the end of the day, let them have at it. Or woman, whichever it is doing it. Some of these channels will actually send people after other channels just to make themselves look good. So I'll let my... I don't know why she decided to talk, but okay, maybe it's a key word I just triggered. But, yeah, I mean, it's like they will literally say, oh, I'm being attacked, and then send people off into that channel. Because people go, really? They're attacking you? And basically do his dirty work or her dirty work for her. So, yeah, it doesn't make much sense. But to me, I just go, why bother? Live and let live, man. That's just the way it is. Whitebeard Sky Daddy says, I agree that this was a waterfront. It actually has that look to it. If you were to put an ocean right here in this, right-hand side of this photo, it would make perfect sense to me. Put an ocean in, that's what it looks like, overhanging things. That T could be some kind of docking area or like some kind of like walkway out to into the water. Who the hell knows, right? Tony P, you taking off? He said, thanks, Chris. Enjoy the rest of the evening, guys. Look forward to comments in the next vids. Adios. All right, Tony, thanks for joining us. Have yourself a good weekend there, right? Matt Patterson says, hey, Chris and everyone, Friday, yeah. I agree with you there. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs. Yep, you'll get that, though. That's why I said I don't give these people any power. Nicholas Hannon, you said they tied boats up there. Well, and it could very well be if that's what this is, of course. And, of course, we're only speculating as to what we're seeing here, right? But when you do have a look at this, and this is the farthest I can zoom into, but when you look at this whole area, you say, well, maybe these blocks on the very edge, maybe they're, compression artifacts. And then why don't we see it all over this photo then? That's what makes me believe that this is a city underneath dirt, perhaps mud, perhaps whatever. It got washed over, and this is what it looks like. We're definitely going to be checking this out a little bit more. Oh, yeah. TFV said, I just blew it up, and it looks definitely like waterfront with small shelters. And these things could be pretty decent size, right? It depends on, the scaling, of course. And I think it was I think you said 25 centimeters, I think they said, per pixel or whatever. But, and if these are smaller structures, does it give any credit to what we were saying? Perhaps these were smaller people living on this planet. I don't know. Olin Creel, you said, agree, waterfront, maybe White Tower and or a lighthouse. Well, we probably wouldn't see the lighthouse because it would have to be standing up. But regardless of that, I'm seeing a lot of structures right on the edge of that, and to the left of this ridge, look at all of the whiter areas and look at all the little pieces in there. Clearly, that does not look like, they look like they were purposely put there, designed and put there. Because like I said, I can back out of this. So we make sure we don't see any compression artifacts. And I can still use my magnifier and see these things. They do not look natural at all. That's a little bit closer in, but check these things out, guys. Kyle, you said, I comment after every video. Yes, you do. And, of course, great support from you and everybody else here. Daniel Webster said, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it, Chris. You seem to get less thumbs down than a lot of people because you have good content, but the video keyboard warriors are always going to be there. Yeah, and that's what you got to accept. When I first started off, I remember it was my buddy Will from What's Up in the Sky, 37. He told me, he says, hey, you seem to be doing pretty good. This is when he first noticed my channel. He says, just a bit of a warning. He says, when you start getting your channel blows up, watch out. All the trolls are going to come out. And I'll be damned if he wasn't right. But you have to expect that. You do. It just comes with the territory. Alien Tenor, he said, they're high up, water lays low, simple farming, probably a fishing complex. Could very well be. Martian Leader says, water equals life. Well, they claim not always, right? Because if it's, not that life can't live in salt water, but this is supposed to be a lot of the water what's left on Mars is supposed to be brine, which is highly salted, contented water, right? So it wouldn't surprise me. But we know life can live in that. Whitebeard Sky Daddy said, structure at the very bottom, center on the ridge, not natural. I totally agree. I'm seeing some things you kind of look, okay, is that a compression artifact? So like, here's a perfect example. Right here, you can see what looks like this white structure, I said it earlier, or lighter colored. You got one right here, it's like a gray, and then on the right-hand side of that one appears to be lighter as well. So we got one, looks like two halves, like the one in the middle is dark, although two in the middle is dark, and then you got one on the right, and you got one on the left. They're both brighter colors. But look in the middle of that, or just below those rather, and you can see what looks like lines, and it's like they try to digitize it out, or, again, are we just seeing the tops of these things, and most of it's overlaid with mud or water or dirt or whatever it may be. Keep in mind, if they claim there's windstorms there, so if that's true, then what are we seeing? Is it partially buried or three-quarter buried structures? I don't know. Scott Duffy said, hey, Chris, no troll here. Just watching awesome commentary on some NASA photos. Appreciate it. Well, thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's not worth it. That's the way I look at it. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to analyze the crap out of this photo. Do some little magic to it. See if we can bring these things and get them to pop a little bit better. What else do we get up here? Yeah, something right there, too. You can see where they blurred this. They literally spot blurred this. I'm going to put it smack dab in the middle of the screen. Looks like there's something square right there, white. And it looks like they put like the same texture as the actual ground, we'll use the term, dirt, whatever. And you just put it right over to kind of tossed it right on top of that. Like I said, you can see shapes coming out of there. I'll put this one in the middle. This area right here. Let me put it right smack dab. I don't know if we can do that. Right there. It's like they put the texture over it so you can't see the whole thing. So if you don't see the whole thing right off the bat, they go, well, they'll just think it's nothing and just move on. Because most people, when you see this photo, you're going to look at it this way and go, oh, wow, yeah, look at that. Just rocks and all kinds of cool stuff. I love this area down here where it has these striations on the ground here. Not sure what to make of this. Right here. Look at the way that thing's laid out like that. And have a look at the real bright areas. Check this out, guys. Look at here. Look all along this right here in the middle. Going up. Look at the little squares and different shapes and everything right inside this brighter area. And down in the darker area. See how it's layered? It's like there's structures on each layer. See that? Let me just back up just a little bit because we don't want artifacts. But check that out. If you got a magnifier, it's on each level. Now I can see what these things are. And check this cutout out. It's how you know this is absolutely structures. Check this out. Right here, I'm going to put it smack dab in the middle of the screen again. There's an actual square or rectangular area cut out. There's 3 white dots right in a row. Can nature do that? 1, 2, 3. Cut out right here. I'm going to put it right there in the smack dab in the middle. Right there. 1, 2, 3. And look at the surrounding pieces. It's like they were layered, 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 and they just went down all the way down. What are the chances of that happening, guys and ladies? Exactly, Matt. It's on both sides. Exactly. You can see it over there. Of course, not as much on this side because it is darker. Here you can see it. At first, like I said, when you're back out of here, what does that look like? It just looks layers of maybe the ground. And, maybe erosion. Again, getting close. Getting close. See the little pieces in there. What's down here? And again, we're seeing it here. Whiter pieces. Look at the shapes in here. And again, I hate going in this close because I don't want any kind of artifacts. Because artifacts will have that square kind of blocky look, right? We know that. So we're trying to avoid seeing that so that we can actually pull these things out. So if it's actually something artificial, we'd see it a lot easier. The last thing we want to do is see compression artifacts and go, oh, these are all structures, when clearly they're not. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Arnie Petrie said, hello from the UK. What's going on over there in the UK? Nicholas Hannon, you said, still think it could be a collapsed pyramid. It could be, yeah. It could very well be. Whatever this thing is, it looks like you can see a ridge and it kind of goes off to the other side. Is it possible it's something similar to like you're saying? Could be. But each of these layers, you can see it as it runs down, there's something at the very edge of that layer. Or is it a layer at all? And all we're seeing is just rows of structures. Look at this one here. This is pretty interesting. And they try to cover it up a little bit. Look at the size of this white structure here. I'm going to put it smack dab in the middle of the screen. Right here. It's white or lighter color. And you can see something right here that's got like a small square, or it could be a circle, but it looks more square to me. And has this dot right here in the center of it. Right here. Look how big this thing is. And you can see a little bit of the white right there. And you can see the lighter color here. And just look around, guys. Look at this. Look at these things just sitting right there, right on the edge. Look at the upper left here. You don't see any of that mess. So if it's compression artifacts, why are we not seeing it here as well? That's what you got to analyze. You got to see. I like to analyze it both ways. I like to say, am I wrong? Could very well be. Why don't we go back and analyze this a little bit more and then check it out? And if it is, if you're still way off, or you believe that you're wrong, then you go, okay, guys, I thought it was that. It's not. Clearly, it's not. But what I'm seeing, it looks like structures in a row, almost like you'd have neighborhoods, right? Streets and neighborhoods. But I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out with this. Are we seeing, it looks like a hill. I think you guys would agree on that because it kind of goes lower down on the right and comes up. So, and again, we got this weird crossroad down here as well. You can see it down there. So are these like all was water in these areas between or around these walls? These could have been streets at one time and the structures on them built. I don't know. What do you guys think we're seeing here? Ian, thank you very much for your support, man. Much appreciated. It says lots more in this photo than first meets the eye for sure. Oh, yeah. Like I said, we're going to pull a couple of these apart big time. Anna Marie O'Connor, you said, how tall is it, by the way? Well, I don't know how tall this particular one, but the regular walls, like Jean was saying, he said they were like 3 to 5 meters. So talking what, 10, 22 feet, 20, 25 feet? But this one here is clearly is much larger. I don't know how tall this would be. I don't know. But this one here is a really, really good photo. Tons to see in here. This is where you find the money shot. This is where, like I said, his work comes in very valuable because he's doing satellite. Most people do not do a satellite. I don't even do satellites. I'm not saying I can't. It doesn't mean I won't. I'm just saying that he does them, and I think he does a fantastic job. And I do the ones on the ground mostly, so there you go. CC, my Harley, you said man-made rock dams to deter the current in water, what it looks like to me. That could very well be, too. You got like a, what is it, like a break wall kind of thing, right? Is that what you're saying? And it could very well be. Architect Nat, you said it looks quite steep in that on the lower side. Exactly. I'm seeing the same thing. It kind of looks like it drops down way over here. Like, woo. Could very well be. Mimi, you said there had to be a big harbor. Well, there could be, too. I mean, if these are the size, and we don't really, I guess we can guesstimate because of the size. We were talking about centimeters per pixel. You can get kind of an idea. But yeah, I mean, they must have been vast. And this is what we're seeing. What about the stuff we're not seeing in this photo? That's either been covered up naturally, or was it done, on purpose, been manipulated and stuff. Josh D said, looks like one of those old sea fortresses that scatter Europe, UK, France, Spain, Mediterranean, and so on. Yeah, okay. Kind of does look like that, doesn't it? They kind of like overlook the ocean, or they're on some kind of cliff wall, things like that. Thank you very much, Alien Tenno. Much appreciated. You said that looks like a dam. I agree with you. I mean, it's the way it's situated. It kind of looks that way. But see, I'm looking at both sides of this. I'm saying, okay. Again, we got both left, or we'll say north or south of this line, if you will. This ridge. You can see what looks like structures there as well. See that? The way they whited it out, so you really can't notice it. And I guess they figured because this is in a docky area that you wouldn't notice those either. But I'm seeing plenty of things in there that does not look like natural occurring things, right? So it looks like it drops down on both sides, like this would be like a giant wall, but it may just be land coming up to that, and then of course this drops off. I don't know. It's a weird perspective. It's kind of hard to tell what exactly the height or which one's running off what side. Meaning, if it drops off more on the northern side of this line or the southern, I don't know. It kind of looks like the southern part of it. Looks like it drops off way off. But if that's the case, all of this would be underwater. These the ones that come to a cross here, because they look like they're a lot lower. In fact, I don't know if you guys seen this. Check this thing out right here, right in the middle of the screen. It's white and gray. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, see, I don't know how this could be natural. This right here, it's white and got the it's white and it's got the like a grayish one right next to it. See that? What do you guys think of that? Third Eye Open says those terraced areas are really interesting. Yeah, it's just the way they look, man. They're just right there. Just, man. Murphy said some of the darker squares on the south of the ridge are identical in shape and identical spaced. Humans on Earth do this with vegetation to help the Earth together to prevent a mudslide. Yes, that's true. Absolutely. Skyra says aliens are real and Trump's Space Force is needed. I mean, like I said, I think that we've had this a long time ago as far as the Space Force. I don't know if they're just relabeling it to make it look like it's new. But we had the Star Wars program way back in the 80s. So I think that's just a, rebranding of what we have already out there. And they're just saying, oh, well, it's going to be all new. This has been going on. And in fact, I wish I could find this page that I had, and it may be on the other computer I haven't used in a long time, where I had a site, I bookmarked it, and it talked about an actual Space Force then. This goes back years ago that I looked at this. And this is probably, and I don't mean like 100 years ago, it was probably back in 2012, 2013, that they talked about this and how there's actually a Space Force already out there where these regular people that, serve in the, whatever armed force is actually going out there, and they're actually, the way they claim is just, to keep an eye out in space, make sure there's nothing going on with other countries. Now, I don't believe that for a moment, but, I mean, is it possible? Sure, absolutely, but I don't think that's the only reason, 4940. Hi, Chris. I love your transmissions. So please don't ever give this up because the truth is out there. Kind regards, Richard Cole from Surrey, UK. Well, thank you very much, Richard. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, both Jean and I were talking about this, how basically YouTube's basically screwing people with our channels, where They're not putting in suggested areas anymore. I don't know if they're throwing everybody under the same category, like, oh, they're all, conspiracy theorists and all this other crap. But like I've always said, it's nothing conspiracy about something you can back up with fact. That's not a conspiracy. If you say, well, I believe these are structures, people, and that's all you say, then people, because in other words, if I did this, guys, these are all structures, and just moved on, you go, what is he talking about? It looks like rocks and some kind of wall. Okay, big deal. And you'd be right. But when you jump into this and you say, okay, can you please tell me why these things that look like they're lined up on this side of this wall, so to speak, and when they really take a look at these things, and like I said, you can see these 3 dots in here right in the middle of the screen with this cutout, and all of these other things along the ridge, what are they then? Is that all nature doing all that? I don't think so. What's going on there, Nathan Bond? Good to see you. He said 90-degree angles. Yeah, there's a bunch of them, too. That's the crazy part. HDOS1AV, what's going on? He said, good evening, everyone. Almost couldn't make it, but you did. Appreciate you being here, as always. Phil Cox with daughters Jessica and Kelsey Brown. Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. Hope you are all well. I'm doing fine here, Phil. I hope you and the family are doing well as well. Max K, you're right about that. If you said if it goes the other way, there's a new war starting soon near you. Wait for it. Unfortunately, I think you're right. And of course, I don't know if you guys have seen it or it's happened, but this new wave has already started as far as this COVID crap. I mean, we had an increase of numbers here, like unrealistically. Just crazy how it's been outbreaking and stuff like that. And yet, people still want their kids to play football. I just don't understand. I'd rather, as long as you protect yourself. Now, some people don't want to wear the mask. I wear it every day. I don't care. It's not hurting me any. I wear it. If there's a less chance of catching it, I'll go with that. And, of course, practice, washing your hands, all that good stuff. But we've had an explosion of this so far because people are going to school. They're opening up again. Now, I had my son in virtual since day one. And I said, no, this year is going to be all virtual. We're not going to be doing that. So he does his homework here at home. He's getting A's and B's. So mostly A's. So the thing is, it's like, if I can do that with him being home, sure. I don't need the aggravation. And now it's exploding because they're more worried about the economy than they are of people's lives. You ever notice that? It doesn't make damn sense. And it really does piss you off. Because whether some people think it's fake or not, it's not. I can promise you it's not fake. Now, some people say, well, the numbers might be fudged. Yeah, I think they're too low. In some ways, you think they're too high, but in some ways, I think they're too low because I don't think they can. What about the people that are not going to the hospitals? And they just say, oh, it'll clear, it'll go over. So, yeah, just practice cleaning your hands and just being safe, and we can get through this because I know I can tell you right now, there's a lot of places closing shop because of it. So, you got to be careful. What's going on there? The real Jimmy Roberts. Good to see you in there, man. What's going on tonight? Yeah, exactly, Jimmy. Yeah, you said people encouraged me to wear a mask long before COVID. What up with that? And I agree. I mean, I've heard this coming a long time ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear the mask. People are like, what the hell am I going to wear a mask for? I said, I just prefer to. Now, like I said, I'm almost positive I had it at the end of last year. That's the reason why they call it COVID-19 and not COVID-20. It started then, and I think we almost had something, it was in January, February, just something I had for like 3-4 weeks, and I never have that. Had all the symptoms, stuff like that. And I just started whacking it down with the vitamin C. The Emergen-C you can buy from Walmart. 1,000 milligrams in the morning, 1,000 at night. Basically whooped its rear end, and that was the end of that. So, they say not to take ibuprofen rather, because it's kind of like a catalyst to it. It actually helps get into your body for whatever reason. But just, all around, yeah, I mean, don't think it's fake. I'm just telling you that right now. Don't blow it off like it's just, people are making this stuff up. Whether the numbers are being fudged or not, I could care less. It's about if you can get it and kill a loved one I'd rather wear the mask. So that's just me. Renee Von Oosterhood's in the house. What's going on? I can tell you that. But the vaccine. You know, I'm not a big fan of these vaccines. You know, when I go to the doctor every year, he says, "Oh, you want the flu shot this year?" Nope, I'm good. Because, like I said, these things they have this thing, they'll morph. So you can have somebody have it, they get it, it morphs into their body, it changes it, like the strain changes slightly. You got the flu shot, it doesn't work. Because now it's modified or it's evolved to where it will not work with the shot that you had just gotten. Now, I'm not saying you should not get one. I personally don't get them. But if you're at high risk, you should get it. I mean, just simple as that. And I heavily encourage anybody to do that if that's the case. And as Aki Titan said, okay, and back to the program. So, yeah. Let's see. Somebody else is on the moon. I don't know if you guys have read this. I got the book to it. It's pretty good. This is cool. You got to see this, guys. If you haven't seen it, in fact, I might even drop the link to you. I've just read the book. It was actually Sarah that encouraged me to get it. I was thought about buying the book, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get it. And I'm kind of glad I did. Really, really good book. So, yeah. This is another interesting page somebody had sent me. I don't remember who it is off the top of my head, so forgive me for that. This is basically all of these lunar events that happen, things that are glowing in craters, things that are, you know, these weird illuminations going on above the surface and in the craters and stuff like that. And you can see it right there, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which is NASA, July 1968. So, and I mean, it just goes on and tells you, like, you know, different things listed. And you can see it right here. It goes back to 1540, region of, you know, it tells you the region, starlight appearance on the dark side. So they were already seeing these things on the dark side or the other side of the moon back in the day. So there you go. And it goes right up to, you can actually see the years get higher and higher, 1787, 1789, and it just goes up and up and up. In fact, we can go down to, let's see where this ends up here, 1948. What does that say right there? 1965. 66. So, I mean, it goes on quite a bit, guys. There's a lot here to see. We'll even drop that link to you as well. What do you think? There you are. Oh, I totally agree with you. Photography Light Magic, you said Pfizer has had loads of lawsuits against them. I urge everyone to do their own research on the company before they take the vaccine. Well, to me, it's just a concoction of garbage, right? They're just guinea pigging people, and we'll see if it works for these people. You don't know what's half of the stuff's in there. You can read just on some of the vaccines in the early days, when I don't mean like 1960s, but going back to early 2000s. Look at some of the vaccines back then. Some people had adverse, reactions with them. Some people, they were completely, like, physically harmed. I mean, it's just crazy. This is another reason why I just don't just take anything, just any garbage they want to put into your body. Tim Houston says, transient lunar phenomena, you rule. Well, I mean, like I said, I just love when you see these things because they're literally all put here and all me see what's the latest one here. This one says 1967. And it's Kepler, Aristarchus, rather. Bright area, moved 80 kilometers an hour towards south-southeast and expanded and contrast. Now, a lot of these things, this is what's funny. If you read a lot of these, they try to pass it off as a natural phenomenon. Maybe like a crater wall, right? Sun shining just happens to be shining off and get this weird reflection off that wall, and you see this weird phenomenon going on. But there's just too many things on there that say, no way, no how, this thing is the real deal. It says high moon, what does it say? After full apogee, I'm reading it with my head turned to the left. Kepler appeared at least one mag brighter than Aristarchus on October 20th and 22nd. Let me see. Relative brightness returned to normal. See, it's just weird how, just some of these things on here, when you read it, it's just cool. But like I said, they try to pass off like everything's just a natural thing going on, and it could never be anything that's, that could be intelligent, right? Jack Lambert, we said, made it. Sup, Chris and subs. Now have to play catch up. Oh, that's fine, Jack. Glad to see you in there, man. Exactly, Elaine. This has happened over and over again. 6 months later, they pull the drugs because people die. How many times have you guys seen this so far? These lawyers pushing these ads for, did you take this drug and, a loved one you had pass on or died because of it? Call us. We'll basically put them over, we'll rake them over the coals. And it's like, come on. Now I get it. If that really happened, you need somebody on your side, right? So, yeah. Josh D said, just too many of us on the planet. Elon is right in this respect. We have to colonize space ASAP. Well, I mean, you just don't know if something, what was it? It's been in the news lately. The comet there, they say now it's supposed to be like 2068. It might be sooner as far as it coming into and slamming, possible 1 in 1,000 chance of slamming into Earth. And I'm going, 1 in 1,000? That doesn't sound like good odds as far as I'm concerned. But I think it was Apophis, I think it was. So now they're saying that it could get here sooner. I don't think I'll be around to see that, but our kids will. So, yeah. Tim Houston says, we've been observing weird stuff on the moon for as long as we've had telescopes. That's a fact. Even though they were still crude back in the day, right? Because we go back to 1600s when there was telescopes. So, of course they weren't very good. Like I said, they were crude. But all of a sudden now, it's like we got really good stuff, state of the art. So, see quite a bit more. Alien Tony said, Star Trek always leads the way. Not that Discovery crap, though. Well, I mean, I was, back in the day, I was a Trekkie myself, and I enjoyed the original Star Trek. And, I don't mind, at the time I was watching a little bit Deep Space Nine, stuff like that. All kind of cool stuff like that. Like I said, back in the day, Space 1999, anything that had to do with technology. I don't know how many of you guys remember Arc 2? I think I even said this we talked about this before. Not too many people seen that. That came out in the 70s or 60s, I think, late 60s or 70s, where it was basically looked like a modified RV, and these, what was it, 4 people or 3 people in a chimp riding around. They're supposed to be, post-apocalyptic times, and they're trying to help people and all this other stuff. Not too many people were aware of that. John Shop, I don't have it on at the moment. I didn't want to scare anybody. He said, Chris, where's your picture? I was doing that so I wouldn't get in the way of the actual photo. So that's why I turned it off right now. Architect Net, you remember it? He said, yes, Arc 2. That's actually pretty cool. Back in the day, I mean, you look at it now, it's kind of cheesy, but it's still, I wouldn't mind having that thing today. That's cool. Yeah, well, you're right to a certain degree, Jimmy. You're making perfect sense. You said, folks, don't say that the Earth doesn't rotate. It does rotate. This is why we see the same face. Yeah, it just seems it's got to be able to turn as the Earth is turning, right? So in that sense, it does. Now, it will actually wobble to the left and to the right as well. So it does actually, I guess you can call it rotates on its axis, but not as you would think like Earth does. It does actually turn as the Earth turns. So it is basically locked when you see it. Most people see it like I said, it's tilted. It'll rock back and forth on its axis to the left and the right. So we know that for a fact. We see that all the time, and we can see it in different positions. But most of the time, you'll see, what you always see in the sky. Now it does differ. I have seen it myself because I got my own telescope. But so yeah, it's pretty crazy when you really think about it. It does to a certain degree. Photography, Light, and Magic, you said, not only that, they have started to advertise Prevnar 13, which is a vaccine for pneumonia. Direct-to-consumer advertising is legal in the UK. I mean, they started this crap, I think, in the 80s, where they're like, they're out there telling you to suggest you to say, go to your doctor, tell them, I need this drug. What? Isn't that what the doctors are there for? You don't say, hey, I think I got that jerkiness they show on TV. Could you throw me some drugs for that? They're just advertising their own crap. And want you to say, yeah, I feel the same way this person does, so clearly I need that. So I'm going to go to the doctor, tell them I need that. No. And I'm a big advocate on when it comes to anything you may have wrong with you, I don't care what it is, that a lot of it could be taken care of with supplements. And you don't need a drug. So whatever you find that you have, and you need a drug for it, they're saying, or you do have a drug, look at alternatives. Now, you may not find one, but I'm a big advocate when it comes to just like, listen, natural, all natural. Whitebeard Sky Daddy said, I watch Arc 2 on Saturday morning. Yes, absolutely. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this too. Like I used to love this program. Saturday afternoons, I think it came on at 12, I believe. And they had Creature Double Feature. They'd have everything from Godzilla to King Kong to Dracula to this, that, and the other. It was pretty cool. Pretty neat. Hey, who are we doing, Louie? There you go, John. That sounds familiar, Tim. He said, does anybody remember the Jerry and Sylvia Anderson show UFO? That's a crash. He said, I agree, Chris. I'm the same. I prefer to look for natural remedies. If I have a headache, I don't just take a pharmaceutical. I guess, okay, I see what you're saying. Let me make the screen here a bit bigger, which I usually do in the beginning. Okay. I just drink water and sit down. Just a silly example, but yeah, nature, baby. Yeah, I mean, I just believe in that too. I don't believe in just jumping in. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you need it, you should take it. And there's no other alternative. Common sense, right? You don't be stupid about it. Go, hey, I'll just hope anything natural will take care of it. If you cannot, don't take the chance. It's not worth it. I just seen something. What did they mention here? Bush Corey, what's going on? You said, imagine if those two huge structures on the moon are twin exhaust thrusters and moon's a ship. That would be pretty interesting if they can just keep it in and just it fires every now and then to keep it in orbit. I don't think that's the case, but that would be interesting. I like the way he said that. Sorry, booze is kicking in. Well, I mean, as crazy as that sounds, I mean, don't we have smaller satellites that do the same to keep them in orbit? If the moon is totally false, that is. And I don't believe it. To be truthful, I don't think it's an actual fake moon. I think it's obviously real, but I think they built into it and onto it. You know, there's clearly we've seen photos like that, right? Pete, you said, wow, you're an old timer. Shh, don't say nothing. They won't hear us. Shh. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Autocrat. You said, thanks for the reply, Chris. I really feel like people should do more nature stuff so that our antibiotics do not become obsolete, which they apparently will soon. Yeah, I mean, and those are the things, too. You can't just take them crazily either, right? You got to just, like, watch what you take and stuff like that. You can't just go crazy with those. Oh, yeah, Kyle, you're right. So if you don't know who Travis Walter is, you should look him up. Oh, yeah. Definitely familiar with him. Josh D said the moon is too big to be a normal moon. It is at least partly artificial, and I think I am one of the 3 oldest people here. It's like, oh, now we're going to see who's oldest. Photography Light Magic, you said, I think the moon structures are still in use. Some are ruins, but a lot of them look okay structures. Who's in them is $1 million question. Yeah, or can you imagine if there's nobody on the moon and these structures are still functional? Maybe they got a power supply that just won't run out. It's like something we probably have no clue what it might be. You know, we think nuclear powered, it can last for thousands of years or hundreds of years. Maybe they got something that just doesn't die. It just stays that way. It just runs. Can you imagine going into something that large that isn't, you know, collapsed or in ruins, or and just everything fires up when you walk into it? That would be bizarre as hell. Well, I ain't touching the wire, that's for sure. Like, at least not in that aspect. I think I know which one you're talking about, Nicholas. You said, have you seen the moon structures that looked like the 3 huge cogged wheels? I'm almost positive I've seen the one you're talking about. Yep, me and Photography Light Magic is spot on right there. Same. James Cragen says, Chris, there's a great interview with Bob Lazar and George Knapp on Coast to Coast Radio, and Bob Lazar doesn't pull any punches in regards to what he did see and what he didn't. It's worth a watch. I've seen plenty of his stuff, James. And like some people still question him. It's like, you know, maybe because it goes against their thinking. Like, no, I think it's this, so therefore, you know, Bob's wrong. I don't think I'd be that quick to do that. You know, the guy is definitely legit. He's definitely a scientist, very brilliant. Yeah, that's not something I would, you know, I would not dismiss. That's all I can say about that. He's the real deal, and, you know, the guy, they pretty much practically snuffed him out as far as, you know, he's basically not a person. And a lot of states are like, who are you? Let me see your Social Security. Oh, it's this. No, it isn't. We don't have you on record. I mean, it just goes on and on. So why would anybody go through the trouble of trying to expose this and bring it out only to, because knowing that he could be pretty much disposed of, if you want to use that term, in one form or another, sure. UFO TV is actually pretty awesome, Kyle. Yeah, he said there's a whole bunch of Bob Lazar on UFO TV. Must go look. Yeah, UFO TV, just look them up. UFO TV on YouTube, just search it. A lot of great programming on there. I watch it every now and then. I used to watch it real big time, like around 5 years ago. Really, really cool stuff. Last Dinosaur, you said your question was, didn't astrophysicist Carl Sagan say that the distance involved would make UFOs not likely? I believe he actually did say that. However, was he just trying to make it sound like there is nobody else but us? Think about it. Because we don't know the propulsions. We don't know if they're going through wormholes. We don't know if they're just interdimensional. We have no clue. If you think about from the beginning of our universe, in other words, go way out to where it started to expand, meaning at the very edge, way out, to now, that might be really difficult. However, if they're going through wormholes, or they just can travel incredibly fast. I mean, we don't know. We just assume we know. And he's just probably just throwing us off the beaten path to say, oh, yeah. This, clearly there'd be such a great distance that there's no way there could be other life out there. I don't believe that for a moment. Excuse me. I like Carl Sagan. Well, I liked him before he passed on. Still like all of his work. He would basically put it in layman's terms, right? And just very brilliant man. I find it hard to believe that none of these guys, even, what's his name? A couple others there would talk about, there's no aliens that we know of, so on and so forth. It's like, stop. If you're a scientist or astrophysicist or something, you got to believe there's at least a chance that there's other life besides us. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I like him, but he's full of it. There's no way that you're going to tell me that as smart as this man is, if there is, he'll tell you if there is life out there, that there's no way they can make it here, blah, 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 blah. And these guys are going to probably be in the know. They have to know that there's life out there, but they're just going to play it off. Maybe it's, what they're being told to not say. Who knows? There you go, Mags. You're telling Josh, you said, you're as old as you feel. Yeah, sometimes I jump out of bed and feel like about 90. But other than that, yeah, I feel good. Interesting, Jimmy. You said Bob Lazar lived down the street from my brother in Las Vegas. I used to go by Lazar's house to try and catch him. Never did, but and then it stopped there. But I don't think. Kyle, you said Stan Friedman is also a physicist and ufologist, and he's a genius also. But I think he's passed on now, isn't he? Stan. Yeah, he was interesting. A lot of his talks he would have, like at different events and stuff like that. Really, really smart guy as well. Yeah, Renee, I tend to agree with you. I don't know if I'd call them, butts, basically, but you said Tom DeLonge, Luis Elizondo, and Neil deGrasse Tyson are buttholes, basically. I'm just going to say it that way. Yeah, I mean, to me, it just seems like they're very, well, not Tom DeLonge, because he's, whatever. But as far as Neil deGrasse, these guys are absolutely brilliant people, okay? just like Carl Sagan and a lot of other scientists, physicists, and all this other stuff. Very, very brilliant people. And, it's the kind of people you want to look up to because they do. They're brilliant. And you just go, seriously? This is, now Neil has said many a times before that, we're all made of star stuff. We're all carbon-based. Okay, so if we had the Big Bang and it's all scattered throughout the universe, why can't there be other carbon-based life forms just like us? He's going to tell me, he's going to say, nah. Well, we need oxygen, we need this, we need X amount to do this and for the body to live. Okay, but that doesn't mean on another planet it couldn't adapted and evolved in a different way, being somewhat similar to us, have almost the same organs, but breathe in a different way, a different gas, or whatever it may be. We, just because we can't live on another planet and have maybe more carbon filled atmosphere, doesn't mean other beings couldn't. They could have adapted to that, atmosphere and that kind of air on that planet. We don't know that. Bush Corey, he needs to rejoin Blink 182. I agree with you on that one. Jimmy, he said, yeah, but he had a jet speed car in his front yard with a cardboard sign that read minimum speed 540 mile an hour cardboard, LOL. Typical genius action. Well, I mean, the guy actually built his own hydrogen car out of his, I think it was an 84, 85 Corvette. Had his own hydrogen station that was solar powered. And you can read it. I think it's the car runs on hydrogen or something like that. You can look it up. And Bob Lazar is very young in this, and you can see where he's actually built it. He's got 3 large tanks in the back of the hatch. You open up the hatch, and there's 3, going from the back to the back of the front seats. So, yeah, I mean, the guy was no idiot. I mean, the guy was a genius. He's still a genius. Just make it sound like he passed on or something. But, so, I don't think the guy's a fraud in any way, shape, or form. Knowing that he could get into this kind of trouble, I think he kind of knew he'd get into it. I don't think he'd be into it this deep. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, just crazy. Oh, Jimmy, that's pretty funny. I'm driving the NCC 1701. Jimmy's log. Neil Picard, he said, hey, Jimmy, A, B, C, or D? Great question. Archer Craft says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, guys. Slam it. Bam. Last time I think we hit 200, wasn't it? I think it was 200. No, it was 207, 211. Something like that. Slam them, guys, if you hadn't hit it. Lazar's license plate that I saw, Majestic 12. Did it really say that, Jimmy? Yeah, there you go, Mags. He said, don't go fast when Missy is in. I hate fast driving. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but, when you're younger, you drive like that. I remember, building up my 77 Monte Carlo, had a 354 barrel, all that good stuff in there, but it was highway geared, 307s in the back, and built in 350, like I said, going down the highway at 150, a little over 150, 152 miles an hour, I think I topped out at. It was pretty funny. So, yeah. But, I mean, you do all kinds of crazy stuff like that when you're younger. A buddy of mine, Ira, he had Charger at the time, had the 446 pack in it, outran a couple of state troopers and stuff like that. I said, dude, you better make sure you keep this thing home and don't ever come out with it again for at least a long time. Because they'll definitely bust you big time. And that was a hell ride in that thing. That was just crazy. Yeah, I believe you. He said, yes, on Lazar's plates. I saw it myself in his driveway. Shadow HQ said one day teleportation will even be real. That is traveling from one point in space to another without moving by bringing those 2 points together and stepping over to your destination instantaneous. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, Stargate kind of thing, right? Oh, yeah, I mean, they've already done it already where they had I think it was a molecule they actually transported already from one area to another. Now, of course, this is very like an infancy stage, but it's starting off, and they may even have it a lot more in the military. We'll use that, that they've, probably already perfected it or pretty close to it, if they haven't already. I'd be curious. Can you imagine some of the things that these people know that they won't tell you? It's just cool. Yeah, let's see. Let's put this back on. See how many people we can scare. Oh, I mean, let me go back down on this. We can see. Kyle, you said absolutely. Bob Lazar is definitely telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I think I remember you saying that, Jimmy. You said, by the way, y'all, in spite of my sets I've built, I wasn't a Trekkie as much as I was a fan of how they shot the show and the props. I do have the blueprints to the ships plus the Starfleet tech manual. I've actually got one of those books that tells you about every single, episode and, the things behind the scenes. In fact, it actually shows the whole set behind the scene and everything else. I think my mom gave it to me for my birthday. I think it was like back in the friggin' 70s, for crying out loud. And I still got it to this day in really good shape. So, pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, even back then, it was actually pretty darn good, right? Special effects and everything, considering, I believe MG Doe, what's going on? I think, what do you call it, was just answering that question. Alex Krause was just telling you, MG Toe, Jean went to bed, I think. Yeah, he was, it's because of his time. He didn't have much sleep last night, and then he had, he said he was getting tired then. And we actually turned our time, I'll get it right, turned our clocks back. I was going to say time and clocks at the same time. We turned our clocks back an hour. So where he's at, they did not. So instead of being 6 hours ahead of us, he's now 7. So when we're on at 5, you're going to just tack on the 7, and there you go. So he's at 12 o'clock. So it makes it a little harder for him. I don't know when his time zone will change, if it hasn't. I don't think it has. Kyle said Tesla's the way of the future. Nikola Tesla was all about electric, and that is our future. Yeah, I mean, it's going to get to the point where we're going to have to get off of the dino fuels, as they like to call it. I don't think that's the case at all. Meaning, how many still believe that oil is dead dinosaurs? I mean, seriously. It's such a farce that we've been told that that's not the case at all. Let me go way down on the bottom here. Pete Ferreira, I think you're right. You said Bob Lazar isn't dead, so they must rather want him to drip, drip, drip information. Keeps us guessing. Yeah, he could very well be right. Yeah, that's what I like to call it. I think it was the Pale Horse that said that. Dino Fuels, LOL. Yeah, they want to say that it's like, it's from old, dinosaurs and stuff like that. This is where we get oil. Bull. This is actually stuff that's created or made from the earth. It's not something that was dinosaurs. Think about it. These guys, when they oil drill, right, they're pulling millions upon millions of 55-gallon drums of oil out of the ground. So many dinosaurs were in that one area. Well, let me guess. There was just like a whole bowl of these things in the ground. What was it, like 500,000 dinosaurs in one area, and they just pull us out of the ground? Come on. Not the case at all. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not just supposed dinosaurs, but other stuff as well, other organics and stuff. But still, it's a bunch of crap. And like I said, I think I said this in one of my videos before, where back in the day, a guy told me that he used to work in offshore drilling. And he told me, he says he was the one that used to maintain these offshore drilling sites. He would literally go there and make sure everything was still tidied up and everything was locked up, everything was shut down in case anybody went there and messed around with them or whatever the case was. Well, he told me one day, he said we had an offshore drilling rig where it basically drained every bit of oil out of the hole that it drilled in. And this was off the coast, so it was in the ocean. Drill, and there's every last drop they can get out of the ground, it's completely gone. So shut it all down, leave it there. That's the end of that. So he'd go there occasionally and make sure everything's locked up, nobody vandalized or went into it or anything like that. And he said, lo and behold, he gets there's oil seeping out of the actual drilling structure itself. So the earth is replenishing it. It's not something that's, what you think is organic, so some kind of weird crap. I think it's something that the earth actually makes itself. And it's not something that was left over that died in the ground. I don't know if you guys have heard the same kind of story, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, Renee, exactly. God put dinosaurs on Earth to create oil, is what we were taught in school. Man, that ain't good. Man. Jimmy Roberts, you said you're talking to Tim, but you said, but in the last 2 days while on the road, my wife and I listened to Holy Diver album and parts of the Paranoid and Sabbath albums, as you mentioned, some of the best ever. Yeah, man, that is cool stuff right there. Like Black Sabbath, Born Again, things like that. Ronnie James Dio was actually pretty cool, too. I mean, it's a shame he's passed on. I think it's been a few years now since he's been gone at least. Really, really good music. That's when they actually made rock and roll and good stuff, Abiotic oil is what Architect Net said. Yep. Kyle Harvey, you said water spins the turbines at the dam. There is no coal burning that will charge your batteries. Well, I mean, if you're using a hydroelectric plant, which is really good, the only thing you're paying for is to maintain the actual turbines, right? So with that, I agree. Now, a lot of these coal-burning power stations and nuclear, or whatever the heck it might be, you got byproducts, you got, chances of, obviously polluting the, atmosphere. And, of course, you've got accidents that could happen. Not good. So, yeah. At least with solar or wind generators or hydro, a lot less chance of that, right? Pete Ferreira, that's a great question, man. You said any signs of oil ever being on Mars. I've never heard of anything. Nothing like that, anyway. Jimmy said, Chris, that is interesting about the oil. Who knows how many things we were taught that are not what we are taught at all. This is why science is not always right, as deGrasse Tyson says. Well, it's like, I think I told you this story too. When I was younger, I was probably early teens, right? And I lived in Florida at the time. And it was funny because this guy comes up, he's a real old guy too. You could tell he was a farmer. And he said to me, he goes, oh, I bet you don't know this. He was talking to a couple other people he knew. And I said, what's that? And he was, my mom was doing actually a flea market. And so we were set up next to this guy. And he says, what do you think causes earthquakes? I looked at the guy like he had 5 heads. I'm like, guy, really? You don't know this? So I was telling him about the tectonic plates. And he says, so I was telling him, yeah, tectonic plates, they rub against each other, get enough pressure, and wham, they finally release. And of course you get these earthquakes, or the ground comes up and builds. Oh, no. I said, what do you mean, no? He says, yeah, that's partially it. He said, yeah, it does cause that. I said, okay, so, and I'm thinking to myself, what else could there possibly be? So he tells me, he goes, well, he says, and we were just talking about oil, right? He said, out of all the gallons, millions upon millions upon millions of gallons that they're pulling out of the ground, what are they putting back in it? I went, huh. I said, good one. And, and I'm saying to myself, that's really good, great question. What are they putting back in the ground? So you have to understand, I mean, there's got to be these huge caverns. You could probably put a city in. They've been drilling so much oil out of the ground. You're not going to have cave-ins? And you can imagine they could be ungodly cave-ins. And this is probably why you get sinkholes the size of Godzilla sometimes in certain areas. Is that the possibility? I don't know. You take this oil out, there's nothing supporting the ground above. Something has to give. I totally agree with the Archetype Net. You said extra CO2 means better plant growth. More plants mean more photosynthesis, means more O2. Yeah, totally agree. So if you think about it, how much carbon do they say is on Mars? Again, water cycle. I guess just as warm in the equatorial regions. We've got, like I said, water cycle. It literally evaporates water on there, so it gets hot enough for that. In fact, it gets so hot that this is how you get these colored dead pixels in these cameras that we were talking about just recently. Where you can see these colored little squares all over the photos in some of these things, and they're burnt pixels from a camera. The only way it does that if the camera gets too darn hot. I thought they said it was a cold, crappy planet. Doesn't make much sense to me. But if you read and you do some research, it has gotten to 70 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit on Mars in the equatorial region in the summer months, or the warmer months that we do here. So, yeah. This is, if you research, it all comes clear. Yeah, exactly, Josh. You said this happens in Holland. We have quakes since we've drawn out all the natural gas. The faults in the earth create quakes here regularly. Yeah, you got a lot of these faults, and that's what happens. Now, you do have, obviously, tectonic plates. There is ground movement, mass pieces of land. They're gonna bind. And finally give. You're gonna get them earthquakes. There's no doubt, and that's true. There's nothing BS about that. But when you stop and think of all of this material they're pulling out of the ground and not returning anything back into it, what do they expect to happen? Exactly, John Che. You said, same as fracking, Chris. It's just making sinkholes for the future. Totally agree. Well, some of them they do. You said Whitebeard Sky Daddy said they fill those oil caverns with ocean water. Not all of them. That's the problem. So the ones that they don't, what happens then? You got to imagine that land can only stay up so far. But you're right about some of them. They do that. Yeah, Kyle, you said batteries are the best idea. They are to a certain degree, but lithium, a lot of people complain about lithium. They're always talking about, they're pulling lithium out of the ground. It's basically bad for the environment, blah, blah. Yeah, but they're finding ways to reuse it. So, we're so far behind we can't see our butt crack. When it comes to other countries, they're actually taking these things. Perfect example. In the UK, if you get a Zoe, I think that's what they're called. A lot of them, the big company there, Zoe, where they're just electric cars. And you have to pay a premium for the car, but you also pay for the battery. So after, I think it's every month or whatever it is, you pay like a premium for that. And what you do is you go in there, you drive, they take the battery out, and they give you another one, and on the way you go. So they will rebuild them. They'll dismantle and rebuild them. So they're not, at one point, everybody would be correct. Yeah, they're taking this lithium, they're just throwing them in the dumps now after that. They're not doing it anymore. They're actually reusing the lithium. And besides, they're coming out with, what was it, that new one that just come out? Not, oh, crap. Does anybody, I've just seen this just recently. In fact, it was yesterday, the other day, where they're talking about this new battery that just came out that is going to replace lithium, which is good. And it's not as contaminating, if you will. So I'm all for that, you know what I mean? And it's going to be the wave of the future. It's going to be hydrogen. It's going to be, electric vehicles. Of course, everybody had to build an infrastructure. But, the United States is so far behind. Like I said, we just don't know what's going on. You go to the UK, you can pull up to any street, almost every street corner. Not everyone, but you can pull up, there's a charging point. I think I'll just plug my car in. And off you run. So that's not like here in the United States. Now, there is a lot more cars now because of the Teslas and stuff like that. I have a fully electric car. I told you guys that. As well as a hybrid. So, love it. If it saves money, I'm okay with that. One of my friends was busting my chops saying, you must be a tree hugger. Nope, not the least bit. I'm a wallet hugger. James Cragen, he said, Chris, there was an earthquake in Turkey last week, and my brother-in-law is over there, and he said that they were bombarded with UFO sightings just before the earthquake hit. That is a fact, man. It could very well be. It's not the first time I've heard that. Now, you can hear like a lot of times, how many times you heard like these massive thunderstorms where you see these things inside the thunderstorms. Like they're taking literally the electricity or the energy from these storms out of it, right? So things like that wouldn't surprise me. Elaine, you said the U.S. is not behind. We just have too many greedy coal and oil barons to let go of outdated fuels sources. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, to me, this is what's crazy. I don't know if anybody else has like a hybrid or anything like that, but people are pissed off here because when you go to register your car, it's like $50. Okay, you do a hybrid, it's $150. And I remember going in there. And this other woman, I guess she was, re-registering her daughter's car. And she went in there. She said, okay, there's $150. I'm sorry, what? She said, it's $150. She said, what are you talking about? She said, oh, my God, my daughter's going to be pissed. Not only is she, I'm spending her money because she got to get her car done, but now she's going to really have a bird. And I was listening to this lady. She said, why is it so much? You know what the teller told her? Because you're not paying as much gas taxes. Okay, so it's all about greed. So basically, screw the guy who's trying to save some money. And by the way, for electric cars, $200 to register. Of course, for some reason, when I did mine, they didn't recognize it. So because I don't own an actual Tesla. So I guess they don't recognize it. I still paid the same price as everybody else. So thank God for that. But the hybrid, oh no, they whacked me on that. It's ridiculous. Well, I've seen you saving money, really? Because I know there's a Mitsubishi, what is it, one of those compact cars, that it's supposed to get 47 miles to the gallon on the highway. Okay, why aren't they being crucified for it too? It doesn't have to be a hybrid to spend less at the pump. That's what I don't get. So everybody's in uproar because they want to overturn that. And I forget what the guy's name is, but he needs a slap and for coming up with something as stupid as that. Pete's Vlogs, what's going on? He said, what's up? What's going on, Pete? Hope you're doing well. Nicholas Hannon, you said, my sister just bought an electric car and got a charging unit at home. But a lot of the local shops have now got charging units. Yeah, I'm starting to see them spring up around here as well. But it's funny because you'll see on this, it's almost like a gas pump, right? You see one side, Tesla, and the other one is just a regular Chatamo. So when you look at each side, so whatever vehicle you have, like a lot of these hotels have got it too. Just plug right in, whatever car you have, and then off you go. There's one I think there's a McDonald's up here up the road who's got one. And what's funny about it, it's the slow charger. In other words, it's no better than the one I've got here outside my house. It's like, what's the point? I'm not going to sit there for 4 hours to try to get a extra 10 miles. It's ridiculous. But, yeah, so you have to find, something that works. If you got a 220 charger, you're a lot better off. Daniel Webster said, I don't trust anything they say about Mars, including the atmosphere, including the temperatures, including everything. I totally agree with you. At first, I did believe them. But again, just do your own research. You don't have to, believe anybody. Just do your own research, and you go, oh, my God, this is crazy. So we're basically being lied to on a scale we just can't understand. And when you do actually analyze these things, you're just going, okay, I don't believe a word they say either. I agree with you. Renee Cruz, you said DMV highway robbery. You got that right. Yeah, we'll be off in a little bit there. I can tell you that. Probably call it a day at 8 o'clock. So we still got about 10 minutes. Pete, he said, don't worry, Chris. I towed those cars, Chris. You know what I find interesting? People are hating on a lot of these hybrids and stuff like that, and these electric cars. Like, oh my God, what's the point? Now, I'm the kind of guy that I just believe in being realistic. In other words, I get a car that fits my lifestyle. So my electric car is just to pete around in town, and of course I can go further. But it was basically bought for that purpose, because it's not like a 300-mile range car. So I bought it for the purpose that fits my lifestyle. Now, I got a next-door neighbor. He went out and bought a Ford, what the heck was it, F-350. I'm trying to remember what it is that he actually bought. But this thing is huge. 7.3 Cummins, diesel. So what'd you buy that for? Oh, I just like it. Really? You bought that thing just because you like it? So the 9 miles per gallon is awesome, right? He's like, well, I don't mind it. I mean, it's all about, to me, it's just like, what's the point? You got to get something that fits your lifestyle. Now, don't get me wrong. If you have a truck and because you just want to be safer in it, that makes sense. If you got a farm, construction, whatever, and you need that vehicle, absolutely, it fits your lifestyle. I know people have went out and bought dualies. For what reason? Oh, no reason. I just like them. Okay. So when the fuel starts going up, don't complain. And, of course, they're the first ones that start crying about it. So, yeah. Nicholas Hannon, you said Brookings report in the 50s says it all. Yeah, and guess who wrote that? NASA. Yeah, more money than sense. That's about right. Hey, Stars 1AV, you said I only needed a C30 van for my 8,000 pounds of gear. There you go. It's perfect reason to buy one. It makes sense. You know, like I said, I believe in, I've had, sports cars back in the day, things I built and everything else, had a great time with them. And as you get older, you go, I'd love to be able to save a little money this time and not, see it go out the window. Like I said, I had an older Ford Escape. It had a little 2.3 in it, nothing special, 4-cylinder. On a good day, you got 26 miles to the gallon. You would think you get better than that. Now, if I was on a flat surface, right around 80 degrees, perfect. I can get squeeze 30 to 31 miles to the gallon out of it. If you weren't on a flat ground, forget about it. 25 to 26, and forget about it if it got colder out. Because we all know cold air is more condensed, and everybody's fuel economy drops. It's just the way it is. However, electric cars do not do that. Elevations, lower or higher, do not have any effect on them. Now, hybrids, they will, because they're obviously gas and electric. But, you can drive around for a short distance just on batteries, so you can literally go a little further. So that's cool. Bobby said in 70 I had a 6-banger Super B with 3-speed trans. The car was like NASA rocket. It was hella fun, but it just jumped on me. That was then. Oh yeah, no doubt. Elaine, you were saying to Josh, I would love to have a 69 Chevy Camaro in my drive. Yeah, my buddy had one when I lived in South Carolina. I lived in Myrtle Beach. He had one, and the engine was built, but for some reason they had the points distributor still in it, which I thought was goofy as hell. I said, why don't you put an HEI in this thing, man? It's the points just cannot open and close fast enough when you're at higher RPM, so therefore it breaks down. And he was like, well, he says, I can get one, I just can't put it in. That's what do you mean? I guess he wasn't sure. I said, that was no big deal. We got the thing, threw it in there. He couldn't believe the difference in that car because this thing had a bigger cam, had all kinds of bigger stuff in it, and for some reason they left in a stupid points distributor, which is really bizarre to me. Even if you got the better, tighter, heavy-duty spring in them points, it didn't matter. It just opened and closed too slow for the RPMs. So he definitely needed HEI, and it definitely helped. But I'd love to have one of those in my driveway as well. Pete's Vlog says 5 p.m. here in Phoenix, and the sun is already down, cold. Oh, I know. That's what I hate about winters, man. It's just shorter days, well, at least daylight. And right now it's like 42 degrees here, Fahrenheit. It's supposed to go down to, according to this, about 38 degrees. So tomorrow morning it'll be fun unloading that truck. Gotta love it. Jerry McDonald said e-cars are way too expensive. Hell, if I'm going to get one. Well, I mean, you can get a used one in really great shape. And, of course, with not too many miles, right? So they will come down because every other company's going to stop really making these things. Kind of like when the first plasma TV came out. Remember those? It was the bomb. Everybody had to have one. Now they're toilets. But they were skyrocket high. You know why? Only so many companies made them. Then when everybody started making them, it tanked. Just like every other technology out there. Like when the Blu-ray, I remember when the first Blu-ray DVD came out. It was like $800 to buy one of these things, if not more. I was like, that's ridiculous. Now you can go to the store and buy one for what? $89? I mean, it was, yeah. So when everybody else starts making them, it'll make a big difference. Claudia with a chance of UFOs, he said, I got a Focus ST with a big dirty turbo on. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I bet it's fun. William Johnson, you said the modern gas doesn't give the best mileage. It's like having winter gas blend in all the time. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know about like everybody else, but I mean, it's kind of nice. It's like when you get into your car, you like I said, one of the cars we have, you can just pass a gas station all day long. And then when you're done, wintertime, I have to charge it twice a week. Summertime, once, because it's a little hotter on the batteries. Electrons don't flow as good in the real extreme cold. So yeah, it becomes a problem. But not a problem, but it just don't get the mileage you would think. Just kind of like your gas. You know, everybody gets crappier gas mileage, so you're going, oh my God, I'm spending more at the pump now every week, and you probably do the same exact driving every day to work or whatever, and yet you're using more gas. Well, there's good reason. Elaine Wall says 43 degrees here, Chris. Well, I just went down, I'm 42, 87% humidity, and like I said, it's supposed to drop down to about 38. Man. No big deal. I think it was like 45 degrees. I was out with shorts today, so. Kyle Harvey said, but with the electric skateboard, you can get 40 to 50 miles per charge on that electric skateboard. Yeah. Yep. I've got an electric scooter. I mean, the thing's not super fast. It's only like 16 miles an hour. But you wouldn't want to hit a brick wall at 16, that's for sure. But yeah, they're cool, man. I can drive. I've done it. Went to work and came back with it. And still had plenty of charge. So, I mean, you might only get maybe 2 or 3 days out of it, but that's about it. But I could just go to work, plug it in at work, and drive back. You know? Architect Net says, find me a 74 Pontiac Trans Am, please. What did you think about the, when was that? The 78, 79? The Trans Am Turbo. That was pretty sweet. A good buddy of mine had one, the 301 Turbo. Pretty decent car, you know, for what it was. Now, if you're going to talk about 400s in them, you know, so on and so forth, that's a different story. But that car can move pretty good. Wouldn't mind having one of those bad boys today. Pete Ferrero says 45 in Buffalo, New York. Damn, you're actually a hair bit warmer than we are. Kyle said some of them will go dangerously fast. It's crazy. They go like 50 miles an hour on this longboard. Well, it's kind of like the scooter they had, and this was funny as heck because it says it'll do 70 miles an hour. Okay. So you got a wheel that's this wide as opposed to something real narrow. Okay. All you got to do is, you know, hit a squirrel. You're done. You're done. That's the only bad part. Hit a couple of rocks or something that just make the wrong move. You're dead. Bruce Meow, he said Hillary Clinton is a reptilian. I think that's a nice way to put it. And I don't think I've got a couple of colorful metaphors for her, but that's beside the point. 8 degrees Celsius here in the middle of UK, 46 degrees Fahrenheit, saying 100% chance of precipitation today. Man. Michael Stark, what's going on? He said, what's up, Chris? Awesome last few moon videos. Can't unsee those black towers now. The whole crater has massive constructed structures. I totally agree. When you look that over more and more, it's like, you know what I like about that particular photo? Once you've seen those giant structures, look around. Remember we saw the ones on the left? Looked like it was laid out in a good size swath of land. The other structure in the back. All of those now, they're all structures in that one area. It's amazing the stuff you can find in these things. And I'll drink to that. So, now that you see the whole picture, you go, wow. There's just structures and crap everywhere you see in that one photo. It's probably one of the best ones I've seen. As far as, now I brought a lot of stuff on a lot of these photos, but that is just cool. I mean, when I saw those, and I didn't expect to see them, I told you that story. And when I did, I was just like, wow, I didn't even see this. So I've got to make a video on this, got to show these guys. It's easy to overlook this stuff. I did myself because, they play with the shadows. They play with the brightness, the exposure. They can spot, put stuff brighter, do it spot, they're kind of like spot blurring. Do the same thing, put this here, maybe the exposure's way up, and then they take the good photo for themselves or a highly exposed photo for the public. Any way you look at it, for some reason, those things are totally hidden until I seen them. I'm going, wait a minute. And as soon as I brought them out, I couldn't unsee them after that. They were just there. And combined with everything on the ground already and those there, oh yeah, it's crazy. Alien Tenno, you said life is all over our solar system. I believe it is or has been all over the solar system. There's no doubt in my mind. Jerry McDonald, my 12-year-old son wants a e-scooter for Christmas. It's like $400. I was like, what? Well, see, here's the one I have. Like I said, it's got headlights. It's got the brake light, disc brake. They were like almost $400 scooters. I literally went to Walmart and they had them on sale for $79 a piece. I grabbed two of them, one for me and one for my son. And they're fun as hell to ride. And that's only 16 miles an hour top end. Is a 70-mile-an-hour one? That would be interesting. And of course, this thing's got cruise too. You just set it, keep it down, and boom, it'll just stay on it. Whatever speed you put it at. You can put it like quarter, half throttle, just leave it there, and it'll beep, and then it'll just kind of cruise at that speed, which is cool. Yeah, if you get the dual motor, Kyle, those things are interesting. Those are wild. He said they range from $200 to $4,000, and you're right. I've priced them things, but they got the bigger wheels, dual electric motors, and some of them things will fly. Elaine Millard says, the only scooter I can manage now is a mobility scooter. I wonder if I can modify one of those. Take all that off and just, you can sit in luxury and just cruise down the road at about 35, 40 mile an hour would be pretty nice. Jerry McDonald said, holy crap, Kyle. Nah, I wouldn't pay that. Well, I mean, if you're paying $4,000, hell, I can get a used electric car like I have for $4,000 or $5,000. It's got heat, air conditioning, electric seats. Electric seats, traction control, the whole nine. So it's pretty sweet. But it depends on what you want. I mean, you can zip in and out of traffic with these things, and if you live in the city, you can get around a lot easier and not have to worry about traffic. It's pretty sweet. And nobody says if the thing does 70, you have to do 70, right? You got to be careful and, just respect it. That's all. Elaine, you all talking about a scooter you stand up on? Count me out. Electric wheelchair would be my next purchase. Harvey said people that make electric bicycles, if you don't like to stand up, they have electric unicycles. Really? Haven't seen one of those yet. Oh, I have seen those. Yeah, they got that big rugged wheel on them. You're right. I'm thinking, the regular unicycle. But you're right. Yeah, those are wild, man. Those are pretty cool. Ian, you said, watch a Roswell doc the other day, convinced that was a legit alien crash. Telegram in General Ramsey's hand shows smoking gun proof of a disc crash and the recovery of the victims of the wreck. Yeah, I mean, it totally, remember they zoomed into that and they could actually read parts of it? They couldn't read it all, but it was saying like downcraft or some crap about it. It was something about the UFO. So he had it like in his hands when he was crouched down, and they could read that a little bit. Michael Stockey said, always wonder why electric cars don't come with 6-speed manual I think it was LSD trans. Torque would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, they do have some. I mean, if you build it yourself, you can have it, because you can have a 5-speed whatever and just take the gas engine out and modify it, and you'll have a 6-speed, which would be kind of sweet, because then you'd have a top end. But most of them are like kind of crazy because if people are like, you start off at one, you're like it's spinning tires everywhere. You have to put it in like second or third to take off, but because of the torque too, you can just take right off instantly. But a lot of these cars, depending on, I mean, if you buy like a Tesla, it's like a single speed, and they're insanely fast. So now mine's restricted through software, so they don't want you breaking stuff and stuff like that. So it kind of sucks in that aspect. I could probably get up and take off faster than I can run faster than take off. But yeah, once the thing it literally is governed. You can tell the way through software. It's like takes off, and then it just takes off like mad. So when you're driving around in town, it's nimble. It's a fun little toy. And the Chevy Spark was like that. The 2014. Look that one up. Had like I think it was like 400 foot-pounds of torque, and had like I forget what it was, like 120 horsepower engine in it or something like that. And the thing would like bake them right off the line. I mean, it was probably the most ballsy one out of the ones years prior or after. That's why a lot of people look for the 2014s. They were like little rocket ships. Max K said, Chris, artificial intelligence scares me. If it gets into the wrong hands, it would be our downfall. Thoughts? Well, I mean, even Elon talks about that, and he's afraid of it. I think if it's kind of like, you ever watch, Terminator with Skynet and all that other crap. That's a possibility, I guess, because if it learned, but if it's got fail safes in place, and I mean multiple, because, artificial intelligence will learn how to work around that. So if they have a way to actually just take the thing, to shut it down instantly with more than one, like I said, fail-safe kind of thing, they could do that. And they probably wouldn't be afraid of it. And they'd have to put these things in because they probably think, well, yeah, they'll just get smart and kill us all. So the last thing they want to do is do that. I mean, I'm not afraid of it. I mean, I wouldn't want it to be something like Skynet because you clearly see how the way that worked out. But, knowing that that's a possibility, you could bet they put some serious thought into it, and I don't think it'll be fine. But there'll be always somebody that will be there to hack it, and, they'll use it to kill people instead. You know how that works. Take a good thing and just completely weaponize it. I have, Michael. You said your question was, Chris, have you done any videos on the photos 1960 Apollo technicians are holding in their hand at the command center? Those pics have crazy unfiltered structures, and I have. And I've actually, used like a burn tool to bring out these parts bigger. There's one that looks like a large square structure, and others I think just below it and stuff like that. But there is actually structures, and I have done a video on that. Yeah, absolutely. Jerry says, I'm off to bed, everyone. Have a great weekend. Working all weekend. Need to earn the cheese for Christmas. Good night. Absolutely. We're going to be doing the same thing, guys. We're going to be jumping off of this as well. So everybody, as always, thank you for a great evening. You guys are the best. Love yous all. Nothing but, much love for everybody. And thank you for all of the contributions and the support. You guys are great. I mean, we always have a great conversation here. It was great having Jean in here. Next time, get some more sleep, Jean. But, yeah, I mean, it's still good to have him in every now and then because we get different perspectives. We get to talk about his work as well. If you guys don't find the links today on the video, then don't forget to look for it tomorrow morning or in the afternoon, rather. They'll be on there because I got some things I got to do after I get off of this. So look for the links. If not, you'll see them on, the next day. So we'll try to put all those on there for you. With a couple extra bonuses, I'll put the Someone Else is on the Moon link if you haven't seen that. So you guys can get to check that as well. But like I said, guys, always a good evening on a Friday evening with all you guys. You guys are the best. Give you all a pat on the back. Just awesome stuff. Between the questions and the other comments, Again, it's a learning curve. We all learn something different here. Some things we already know because we've already researched, and some things we don't. So it's great to actually learn something new every day. Again, if you stop learning, if you don't learn something new every day, you've pretty much stopped growing, right? So, yeah, awesome. So you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for a great weekend. Well, I should say before weekend hangout. And anybody on the way out, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, we're at 193. Let's top this bad boy at 200. Hit that thing, slam that thing, get it over the top, and it'd be awesome. But anyway, guys, again, much love to everybody. Great hangout as always. Everybody, please be safe. And don't take this COVID BS as BS. I understand it's a pain in the rear end. It is. I mean, I wear the mask every day, and it sucks. But it is what it is. I'd rather be a little safer than sorry. And I think you guys just take it serious and just do what you got to do. Play your part. Do your part. Protect your loved ones, even if you don't believe you'll get it. Just do what you can, and you might save a life. That's the way I feel. So everybody, stay safe. Have a great weekend.